Why, hello, Internet. It's time for Honesty Hour. My guest tonight
I'm really scared.
is this person.
It's me, everyone. Jessica Marzipan, your favorite candy-covered confection.
It's me, everyone. It's Jessica Marzipan.
Hey, everyone. It's Zach Eubank, the person who I could have completely called that he would be wearing this exact outfit. Do you own one pair of pants or five?
Five.
Of the same?
Not of the same. I just wash these weekly, like a normal person would.
You're always wearing them when I see you.
Every Monday or Wednesday. It's usually only Mondays or Wednesdays.
Help me complete my Zach Eubank costume.
Somebody already did it.
Okay, that's
Just today
fine.
they had a GoFundMe on. They set up a GoFundMe to dress up as me for Halloween, and it got funded. So great.
Of course it did.
Yeah, great.
Of course it did.
Great.
I'm gonna be wearing Kigurumi, but underneath I'm gonna be Zach Eubank.
Cool. Great. This is so fun.
Amazon Prime, baby!
They'll be here tomorrow. Oh, my Cineverse shirt comes in tomorrow.
Can I just say that is a beautiful shirt?
It's so much fun.
Can I say the F word?
Yeah.
It is fucking beautiful.
When have you not been able to curse on one of my channels?
I mean, well, I thought that it would be respectful to ask first in case the show suddenly turned
When have
into
you been
like
respectful?
a PG channel.
Like, there's two things that are weird here. One, when have you not been allowed to just say whatever you want? And two, when have you just been respectful by default? Has Microsoft changed you?
I think I'm always respectful. I think you push me to my limits and you see the results of that.
What? I push you to your limits?
You push me to my limits.
This is getting interesting right off the bat.
You and Hector.
Man.
You and Hector push me into
I feel
places.
like you're the only person that can push me to my limits.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's the kindest thing you've ever said.
Yeah. You have an effect on me. Congratulations.
Oh my god. I'm so excited to be on Honesty Hour because I don't like things that are uncomfortable or truthy or
Wait, you've
revealing.
done like you've done like periscopes where you talk about dealing with like your own like issues in life and stuff. That's super truthy.
Yeah, but that's under the guise of I decide this is what I'm going to talk about this week. I'm preparing my thoughts and I'm going to talk about it.
Gotcha.
But Honesty Hour is like, ask me anything. I will literally discuss anything that I'm not under NDA about.
So how you doing?
You know, yesterday I was doing not so great. Today I'm doing good. I made the mistake of watching the debate, so you know my head's not in a great place.
No, can I just say, what the fuck, man?
What the fuck?
Just what the fuck?
What the fuck?
We were watching it in the back while watching Shadowrun 2, and it was like, it hurts, man.
It's just
It hurts. Like, I told somebody on Twitter, I think it was Pillowzak actually, like, this is exactly a moment where if I was running the live show, I would have muted the mics and then came out and acted like something went wrong. Be like, oh, technical difficulty, the mics just stopped working. I don't know, we're trying to fix it. And just burn it down, let it stop, just let it stop, just let it go. Just cut it off.
Can you
It just
imagine
hurts.
a Twitch presidential debate? It would be so different. It would just be so different.
How? It'd probably be just as immature and stupid.
No, but there would be rules underneath the chaos. You would get on like Overlord mic and be like, yes and.
Stay on topic, yes, and follow it up. Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That was a bit. Follow that up with another bit. Respond to the chat with another bit.
Come on, plug the channel again.
Yeah. Every 15 minutes, you gotta plug the channel. Come on.
Jesus.
Hey, Firecrow is hosting us for 73 viewers. Firecrow, thank you so much.
Thanks, Firecrow.
Man, Yeah, why would you watch that, really? Why? Well, because, you know, we don't talk about politics on the channel, and I've made that a pretty big, like, we're not going to. But at the end of the day, I still live in this country, so things like that are important for me to watch and make up my own mind. But that's where I get frustrated. It's just like, I feel like I'm an adult watching two children, and I'm just like, no, stop. Here, dangle something in front of them, distract them. Here you go. Like, it just hurts.
Yeah.
It just hurts. I hate that when I just said that thing about the mics and said something about technical difficulties, that a lot of people now know my secret.
They're like, wait.
How many times can you think of that the audio just stopped working and then we took the stream down and acted like it was a computer crash when really it was because something was wrong and Zach had to fix it and it was best to fake a technical problem.
We're already getting real honest.
Thing is, we have a lot of actual real crashes with the software, so they'll never know.
No.
They'll never know.
They'll never know.
They'll never know.
They'll never ever know.
Because unfortunately, lots of times, it's just the software crashing. Unfortunately. Somebody already said Zach for president in 2020. I'm telling you. Guys, should we make a shirt that says Overlord 2020 on it?
Do you have to be like a certain age to be president?
Whatever.
I think you have to be
I've got more life experience than one of them. Yeah, dude.
Why can't Malika run for president?
That she'd be way more qualified.
I feel like Malika would make a great president.
She pays her taxes.
That is so true.
I try to, I'm just broke. Yeah, 35. I'm ready by 2020. I could be the youngest president.
Cheers!
Let's do it. I'm giving up on Twitch, guys. I'm gonna go for my F-list celebrity and see if it'll take me to the White House.
Every week you should just add a layer of just kind of like spin on the show until like 3 years from now it's totally unrecognizable and there's just stars and stripes and eagles that fly in all the time.
Wow, Malika isn't a native-born citizen and isn't eligible, but she has dual citizenship. But that doesn't matter.
My birth certificate says I'm an American born abroad. I'm not a naturalized citizen.
She's an American
She's
born
American.
abroad. Boom! Make your assumptions about her race and ethnicity now, dog!
She's gonna choke on that weird burrito thing.
Hunter just subscribed with Twitch Prime as a resub. That is awesome, Hunter. Thank you for using that Twitch Prime as your resubscribe. That's awesome.
Thanks, Hunter.
Okay, well, will Rai be your body double? Yeah, I'll just have him do all my speeches for me.
Speaking of which, yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Rai could at least be like your chief of staff, who has to. Oh my God, you would have if you were president. You would have such a Veep presidency. You would be like, what's her face? But the guy version.
Julie Dreyfus.
Yes,
Yeah.
you would. That's exactly what it would be.
Well, let's get into Honesty Hour. So, lots of big things have been happening. I know every week I get on here, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm not getting a chance to talk to you too much. Like last week I was down in LA as we did Honesty Hour, and you guys now see the result of that as Cineverse was on last night for its first episode. And...
The audio's gonna go out.
Now they're using my trick. They're using my trick. They cut me off. All right. Well, GFC, we're working on the Hyper RPG mug situation. We're working on it. So as you guys know, on this show, we get real. We talk about all sorts of crazy stuff. We'll get deep into conversation a little bit, but we also use this time to update all of the viewers on what's going on the channel. So there's a lot of things that have been going on, as you now see. Like I said, Cineverse is on the channel, which was a lot of weeks of discussion and trying to make that happen. And I'm really, really happy that those guys are now a part of the channel. And I think that we have a lot of plans moving forward. And hopefully, if we keep growing, we plan to get them into a studio. That's the plan, is to get them out of his bedroom. That's the plan. We have a long way to go. For instance, we're tracking this week at about half as what we usually make in a week. So we have a long way to go. These are the things that are hard to talk about. Like, other people, it's hard for them to talk about emotions. It's really hard for me to talk about money.
Money?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't have much of it. And it's hard.
Money's hard.
Especially because people want us to grow. Like, people want us to keep growing as a channel. Bye, guys. People want us to keep growing as a channel. They want us to, like, keep doing new things, not realizing every single new thing costs more money. And, like, bringing Cineverse over is expensive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, actually. back to my whole not being able to sleep kind of nervous. So we want to grow. We have a growth plan. And we are growing in numbers. Like our subscriber numbers growing so much, which is really cool. The last couple weeks, we're seeing it already level off this week. But even though our sub numbers are growing, our financial numbers are dropping at about the same rate. So that's freaking me out and making me really fucking nervous.
So is it? So it's less donations,
less tips and bits as we started getting more subs.
guys. I'm gonna be honest. Bits delight me a lot, like in a real weird way.
Speaking of which, why aren't our bits on screen right now? God damn it, Laura! And she left. God damn it.
Was very overt about leaving.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem too. Is she keeps forgetting to put it on screen. Which for you guys, you want to fill that cup. So that right there, that one little mistake probably cost us $100 tonight.
Guys, don't let it cost us $100. I'll hold my hand out the whole time.
No, I get no. So that's the thing. Like, Krellin, even saying you're out of money is unproductive to us because it's kind of like I'm not asking you directly, Krellin. You need to give me money. That's not what I'm saying.
He's behind you.
Yeah, I'm saying that these, as a channel, I'm being honest with you about how these things track. So we have to be honest with you because you're investors in this channel. I want to be able to talk to you guys. So we're bringing a lot of new stuff. Oh, thanks, Denoyle. We're bringing a lot of new stuff to the channel. We have a lot of plans for the next couple months and things that we want to do. We just have to make sure that our growth supports it and that we can keep like... Are you getting less donations since you started? Oh, she's still here. Great. So she's getting it up. Are you getting less donations since you started accepting bits? You know, we don't have enough data to properly support that yet.
I was like, I put it up. And then space bar.
So that we don't have enough data yet. For a couple weeks, we were actually pulling in more revenue when we enabled bits because people that had bits, I think, were coming over from other channels and using their leftover bits here. So it was kind of like extra on top of. But I don't know. I don't know if that's it. There's a lot. Well, yeah, obviously our shows make a lot more. Really, what was interesting about bits is the shows that didn't do well on tips. When we introduced bits, it did much better on bits. Like Malika Vision doesn't make many tips, but it makes a lot of bits.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stopped listening to you because I just had a very huge sense of deja vu right now. It was so crazy. I hope you all saw my face when that happened. I've had this conversation before. I'm sorry that I wasn't listening to you.
Cool.
I was.
What happens next?
You get more bits.
Anyway, Yeah, why don't you come talk about that, Malika? Because I said we were going to talk about this tonight on Honesty Hour. I don't know anything about it.
So I just say Indian food, so I'm like, oh, spicy lips. Oh, hey, thanks.
It's not a $100 in bits, but it's something. Thanks for bringing back the concession stand crew for Cineverse.
Aw,
Thank
thanks,
you, Calandros.
Calandros.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
Thank you for that.
So, Silly Sunny, thank you for the bits.
Okay, so you said there, I watched some more ads. So why don't you talk about this? Because this is new for me.
So there's this group called Twitch RPG, Twitch Research Power Group, and
I hate that they call themselves that.
Are you jealous?
There's a thing called Twitch RPG that has nothing to do with role-playing games. I think that's a really stupid move for a gaming network. Okay, continue.
Anyways, they're called
Research Power
Twitch.
Group.
Yeah, they're called Twitch RPG, and actually I took some notes. I wonder if I have them on my phone. Anyway, I think only 10,000 people have opted in, and that's a very small percentage of all the people who use Twitch. But if you take their surveys, it'll award you bits, and you don't get them right away. It'll say enter your Twitch username, and then in a few days it'll show up. And then you can give those bits to us.
Guys, business intelligence is incredibly sexy.
Crash B Gaming. So I think that's interesting. Oh, they're taking surveys right now. Is a member. So you take a survey and you watch a couple ads and you get bits to give to a streamer.
Yeah, you get special emotes too, and you get to vote on the emote that you get. It's a really nice program.
Interesting.
And one of the things that crushes kind of my heart is I don't think their sample size is representative of everybody who watches Twitch. So I think it was 82% male, and we know that like Twitch kind of leans
Money. Kurt
Mo
Cole.
crotch thrusts. Mo money.
Oh, Kurt Cole, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt Cole. And Kurt Cole, I'm so glad you've been around a lot lately. Really miss having you in the audience. So thanks for coming by. I know you've been watching Vanquished a lot and enjoying that. Thank you, Grading. Awesome. Thank you. So, just letting you guys know. Okay, so that's really cool. That's a cool way that you can actually.
You should opt in so that they have a better sample size, so they don't like make decisions from a bunch of like I don't know, angry guys.
TwitchRPG.com.
There you go. That's pretty cool. So that's where we're at with that. There's been other meetings in development that hopefully I can talk to you guys about soon. But again, I'm hoping that she does this a lot. Sometimes during Honesty Hour, she'll just start dancing.
It was adorable.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, she danced behind that camera for 2 hours without stopping.
That's
2 hours.
So cute.
I don't even know how she has the energy for it. I'm so tired.
She's a strong, independent woman, that's how.
That makes her energetic, I guess. Has a lot. They're similar. So, soon I'm hoping I can talk to you guys about some more stuff. Some of those things will help our financial burdens. Some of them will hurt our financial burdens. So, but all of them are good developments. Hopefully, I can tell you. I can say that the meetings have been going really well lately, and hopefully soon I'll be able to talk about them. Audrey, thank you for that follow. Thumper in training. Okay, so I feel like there was something else I was supposed to talk about. Oh, ads. That man with the Yoda shirt just said it. Did we cover ads? So we're doing a test right now, and this test will run for 1 week. Thank you, Fire Crow. Fill that cup. This test is going to run for 1 week. We turned ads back on for people who are also subscribed to see how much effect it has on us now that a bunch of our audience has Twitch Prime. Because Twitch Prime works like Twitch Turbo. If you have Twitch Prime, you don't see the ads, and the streamer still gets paid for them. So, we wanted to see how much of an effect that actually had on us. So I think we'll let it run for a week, and we'll see if it gives us a sizable amount of income. If it does not, we'll turn them back off. But if it does, we can't ignore it. Because right now we can't ignore things that bring in income when we're like bringing on a lot of things that cost more money. We have to explore every single fucking option. So, woo, knock on wood there. We'll see. But I'm giving it a week of data collecting, and then I'll look over everything and compare it to the weeks before. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll just turn it right back off. If it's only like a $10 increase for the week, I'm turning it off. Oh my god, we got a sub!
Subscriber.
Every 5 subscribers, we give away a Steam key. Fuck you, Alex. Yeah, that's for you, Alex. Just sitting there with headphones on like a piece of shit.
Alex!
Masuma.
Get out of here.
Look at that.
Oh my god, Jim Orland just subscribed! We gotta wait for it. We gotta wait for the song.
I'm waiting.
Hey!
Yes! It's almost awkward.
Subscriber.
Boom! Hey, thank you, Dead Space Dragonborn 21, for that follow. Very much appreciated. So, like I said, the ads thing is a 1 week test. We are now 3 subscribers away from a. Every Wednesday night, I almost die. Okay, we are now 3 subscribers away from a Steam Key giveaway. Alright, so we're gonna just talk for a little bit, and then I'll get into Discord and start looking at questions that people have asked.
Okay.
And if you guys have questions about the channel and updates and things that are going forward, put them in Discord and we'll get to them in a little bit. So
Nobody wants to know about your channel.
Fuck you, Alex!
So
really
So Jess,
Hi.
you're totally comfortable. You're fine.
Going to sleep but have some bits this time. Shoot, I want to think of a rhyme. I really want to do this right. Oh, look, I made some. Have a good night.
Thank you, Prosperous Guard,
Thank
for your
you.
rhymes. We're going to make a book out of them. You don't even know. Okay, Jess. So,
Zach.
you left Los Angeles
I did.
for here, for a job, a jobby.
Yes. Right.
What was it? Well, why don't you tell people, like, what are you doing? Like, what's your new job?
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Jessica Marzipan, your favorite candy colored confection. You also might know me on the internet as a community manager of things and as a garbage fire cosplayer on reality television. Sink that in. But what I'm most proud of is actual community management stuff because that's what I'm good at. And I'm not great at making
Marza
costumes.
Momzapan, Marza love, Marza Momzapan sharing some Marzipal love.
Hey, RJ Canuck, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Today, Momzapan told me that until she was 5 years old, she thought hot dogs were chopped off penises.
Well, great. That's awesome. When did she know before 5 years old what penises even were?
That's the horrifying part.
When I was 3, I learned what a dick was and I thought it was a hot dog. Like, cool. Great. So that got derailed really quickly.
So I'm most proud of my community management work. I have worked in the video game industry, in the museum industry, in the film and entertainment industry, and I was super ready for a change. So I took a job at Microsoft, and now I have built a community team of awesome diverse hires, although weirdly, I swear I have hired more men than women, but I have a full, like, all-female team, like, very diverse in age, in ethnicity, in education and background. It's awesome, except there's no peepees, so that's a little weird. But
No hot dogs.
there's no hot dogs. There's no hot dogs.
cool.
So that is.
Can you tell them what exactly, like, what your
I was
community
getting that.
managing?
I was getting that.
I was just
So I
doing a
hired a
follow-up question,
team.
so it looked like I was doing something.
Oh, like you were listening to me
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
opposed to just waiting for the appropriate time for you to say something?
Yeah, I was re-engaging the conversation.
That's great. That's great. Active listening.
Yeah.
My team that I hired to manage is working on all of the Windows apps and experiences, which includes HoloLens apps, which is pretty cool. And we're working on some secret projects. Stay tuned for more on that, because I'm, hoping to share stuff, soon on stuff that we're working on. But Microsoft has some great tech communities, but they don't have as many, like, creative communities or, just casual consumer communities. They're very hardcore tech specialist IT
Dude,
pros.
Kyle Landry Piano is now hosting us for 161 viewers. That is amazing. Thank you, Kyle Landry. Kyle Landry Piano. Shit! I can't fucking read.
Kyle Landry Piano!
Son of a bitch bastard. Okay.
Not you, Kyle.
No,
Kyle.
not
Love
you.
Kyle
You're
Landry
great. Thank you
Piano.
for the host. Very much appreciated. Back together. So, what's the difference? Because you came from Legendary doing community management over there, which I'm sure you're glad you're not there right now doing it. So, you came from community management at Legendary to. Sorry, it's been a literal trash fire over there. So, it's from that to here, what's the difference between doing it for things like media and film and doing it for the tech industry? Because you came from video games first,
Yeah.
right? And then you went to film, and now
Well,
you're on,
before
like, tech.
video games, I was I was a practicing anthropologist, and I also did some community management for a museum in London. So if you're in London, go check out the Museum of Brands and their packaging time tunnel. It's great. I started their Twitter for them. So obviously, any community that you manage in an online space, there are a few things that connect it. I care most about educating and entertaining people. So having transparent development, having people who are are understanding why things are happening. Like Honesty Hour is a great thing for maintaining community because Zach is here just laying it out and telling you what it is, so that the opposite version of that is if Zach never talked to you and then something awful happened and Zach decides that's the first time he's ever going to speak to you. That's
bad.
Not great.
No, bad.
So educating people on the process, on how things work, on why things happen the way they do, and then entertaining people, because regardless of if it's a patch update, if it's a movie coming out and you're waiting for the next trailer, if it's a video game and you're waiting for launch, if it's a museum and you are waiting for the next, exhibit or whatever, I think that people want to stay engaged every single day, and that's how community forms. So you have to give them content. So
Man, you should be a community manager for a Twitch channel.
A lot of community managers are focused on talking to people in forums or tweeting out on social media. My approach to community management is much more on creating content that educates and entertains people. So that's what I'm working on.
That is basically what a Twitch channel is.
Yeah.
In reality. So I have meetings constantly with people that want to start their own Twitch channels. I meet often with big companies that want to do Twitch channels, and I always end up having to tell them, cool, it's about 80% community management and 20% content. What they don't understand. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Right here. Okay, great. Got it.
Oh!
Gotta keep those bits from plopping in over here.
Gross.
What? Gross?
Bits from popping? Nasty.
Okay. So, yeah, it is
80% community management.
And about 20% actually doing content. A lot of people think, especially here, that it's about the content. But the amount of time we spend engaging the chat room, off the air, on Twitter, in the actual chat, doing things like this is a community management show. This isn't fucking programming. I'm sitting in front of a camera talking to you guys. This is not a show. So I would say the amount of time that goes into just keeping the community active, educating them, sharing information, it's a lot of work,
That is probably the best thing I've ever seen on this channel.
Not the mini umbrella.
Guys, with the bits, I'm full already. I'm getting quite full. Fine.
More bits! More bits!
More bits!
Okay.
Feed him!
Feed him.
You should rub your belly too.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You guys are gonna make Zach humongous.
Okay, but you didn't start at community management. You started in anthropology?
Yes. So I went to school and majored in archaeology. And then I went to grad school and majored in material and visual culture, things you can touch and things you can see. And I decided that academia was a pyramid scheme, and being an archaeologist was basically being a glorified construction worker who doesn't get paid as well, unless you get your doctorate and then you wait for someone to die and then you take their job and you struggle to get tenure. You're always writing and no one reads your papers, and you dig up a lot of awesome sites and then they get put in a warehouse somewhere because we are running out of space for all of our artifacts. And people are digging up historic sites in people's backyards because they're just going on the internet and finding Sanborn maps, and it's awful. So I maybe got a little discouraged and jaded.
A little
by
jaded.
archaeology.
I think I might have gotten a little jaded by school as well.
Yeah. So I wrote my master's dissertation on Comic-Con, community building, and identity construction, saying that gross.
Love you both, Marzalove.
Thanks, Rocket Soup.
Thank you, Rocket Soup.
That was a huge load of bits all over your face, Zach.
There's bits all over his face.
You are
Yuck.
what you eat.
I feel like if I was to ever run for president, they would just show a bunch of clips that show up on me when you search my name on the internet and be like, what?
It'd be like your opponent. It'd be like your opponent was like smoking marijuana, and then it would have like your face covered in bits.
Yeah.
It'd be like, which is worse?
Yeah, come on. Which is worse, me wearing a black bodysuit and dancing with Felicia Day, or just being any politician? Come
I
on.
was gonna say heckler. Like
Oh,
that
that's
was
totally fine.
That was.
I think it's way weirder dancing with Felicia because she was my boss. Whatever. Firecrow, come on, man. Seriously. Oh, God.
Yeah, the sound effects help.
It almost looks like someone, like a shape is vomiting on you.
Geometry.
Yeah,
Okay.
like maths.
Oh, yeah. So.
Last one.
No.
Yeah, so I wrote my dissertation on Comic-Con and identity, and I became friends with the BioWare guys, and they asked me to take a community manager job, and that's how the magic started with bits.
Okay, so a lot of people, and I don't know this story either. How did you first get involved with media? Like, because you got into, like, you said your dissertation was on Comic-Con.
Okay.
When did you first decide that you wanted to be, like, a personality on camera?
Okay.
Because I don't know, I've never even thought to ask you
No,
this.
because we don't have these kind of conversations, which is why it's, like, incredibly...
I don't have these conversations with
it's,
anyone.
like, very stilted and uncomfortable.
Hey, when did you first decide you wanted to be on camera?
Look, Dave, I can see you are really upset about this. I honestly think you ought to sit down calmly, take a stress pill, and think things over.
I wish I knew the reference.
I don't know who Dave is. I'm sorry.
I don't know the reference.
His eyebrow specter.
We don't get.
I love it!
It was hilarious.
Ah, thank you for your tip. We really appreciate supporting the channel. Okay, so
Chat's loving it. So when did I decide that I wanted to do the camera stuff?
yeah, and don't feel bad. I don't have conversations with people about their personal lives anywhere except on the show.
That's not true. You invite
That's
people to
100%
hang out
true.
with you, and I never get invited.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no.
Malika, when's the last time I invited someone just to hang out with me?
You don't even do that to me.
Exactly. I think you are making that up.
I'm not making it up.
I do not hang out with people.
I'm not making it up.
He doesn't hang out with
I
I
do
have
not
a
hang out
very
with people.
very clear visual reference of you with Hector and Erica hanging out at I think your house.
You mean
For a
when they would come
stream.
by for a stream and
No.
I made it work?
No.
I've never hung out with anyone that wasn't just work. This is not my personality.
Literally never.
You're discussing somebody that is not me. It's got to be work related.
All right.
I have my two best friends sitting in the room right now to tell you I will not just hang out with them.
You're probably part of the
I
conspiracy.
paid Alex to come out here to work for me. That's why he's here. I paid him.
Don't make Alex sound so cheap.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't say, Alex, hey, come out and hang out. I said, will you come work for me for a month?
It's true. And I was like, no! I hate you! Don't ask me questions, bye!
So, yeah, I don't know. Don't take it personally. I don't invite anyone to hang out. So,
Okay, so when did?
I've invited you to hang out, and you're like,
Well, that's
oh, shade thrown!
that's because I'm socially awkward.
You're in, no, it's just because you're in another country these days.
Okay, that's true too. But if I'm not, it's because I'm socially awkward. That's why I never went to Gather Your Party, because I didn't want to have to figure out how to speak to people.
That's why I always try to involve the dogs.
If
Smart.
people ask me if I want to hang out and I say no, it's just because I don't want to.
It's just because it's like, fuck no.
I just don't feel like
I'd
it.
rather be playing
That's
Hitman.
usually what I do too. People, I like though that when you say no to enough things, for one, people stop inviting you to stuff, which makes it way less awkward, and I appreciate that a lot.
Which is like the opposite of what most people say. They're like,
You found that
I
out
stopped
years
getting
ago.
invited.
I know. I found that out years ago. I was like, oh man, I love this. I just said no to everything, and then people stopped inviting me to things. This is great.
Yeah.
I don't feel obligated to do anything because people are like, why would he invite him? He's just gonna say no and come up with some bullshit excuse. Like, no, I don't want to.
Okay, so I started. Well, okay. I feel like Honesty Hour shouldn't start so sad, but it's like it's not a happy story.
That
It's
you
like,
got involved with media?
Yeah,
Did
it's
somebody like tie you down and force you to be on camera? No, how do you start? Like, how does you, when you first decided to be on camera as a personality, a sad story?
All right, so my dad died when I was 5 years old, and both my sisters were drug addict prostitutes and like just, you know, just all kinds of fucked up nonsense and just not great. So I, at like 5 years old, was the good kid who had to do like well and, you know, make everyone happy and smile. So everyone would be like, you know, crying because people were dead and people were on drugs and it was just sad. And I try to make people laugh to make things less uncomfortable for me. So I was like, I'm gonna make people laugh. I'm gonna be someone not me. I'm gonna perform. So I got involved in like theater, and I was in an improv troupe starting in elementary school, which in hindsight, that's super weird that they had like tiny Herald teams in elementary school.
Where the fuck did you go to elementary school?
Well, I went to school near LA, so I think that's probably why. But
that is the most LA of LA things I've ever heard.
I know. I grew up in a
Wow.
little town called Redlands, and I think that it was just a lot of people who tried LA dreaming, and then they moved an hour east and pushed all their weird performing dreams on their students. So I started performing at a really young age, and I liked being someone who wasn't me. I liked not being me. And I liked making people laugh. So a lot of the times I was too shy to do like stand-up comedy, but when I was with my friends, I was always trying to make them laugh. I was always trying to make the teacher laugh. I got in trouble a lot for that. And I wanted to be an actor and perform, and I was president of the Theater Thespian Society. It's funny because like 12 years ago, everyone would have been like, the Lesbian Society. I'm like, oh, that's not like a funny joke anymore. Lesbians are people too, guys.
That's true.
It's true. So anyway, that was a long way.
Money.
Have you heard the lyrics to the new Disturbed song? It goes something like woo ah hashtag achieve your bliss.
Money.
Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you.
Thanks, Anon.
Those
Anyway.
were so well timed.
So, and the end. So that's why I wanted to be on camera.
So when did you first, like, how did you then get into it as a professional?
Well, my mom told me that I had to go to school and get a real job and be rich so that I could support my poor family. So I did not go into acting because that's not like a moneymaker.
Looks like Steph's rating us.
Steph! Just kidding, Steph. You can make lots of money acting. Not all my jokes land, but when they do.
Oh, the true ones are the funniest. Oh.
I feel so bad for actors. I'm sorry. It's so hard.
Well, that's why I didn't become an actor.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. But
But cosplay was a way that I could make a costume and I could cast myself in whatever role I wanted to be. And my friends liked making stuff, and I liked being like other people who weren't me because me was uncomfortable. So I started cosplaying and going to cons and dressing up, and just randomly that started taking off and doing well. And Chris Hardwick approached me and my friend and asked us if we wanted to do a show with him. And he was kind of surprised that we were not only good at making costumes, but we were, I don't know how to say like pleasant on camera, but we were pleasant on camera. I don't want to say we were funny
pleasantly awkward and sarcastic.
Yeah.
It was a good combo.
Yeah.
Which, should we dive into that story?
Which story?
You and your old partner. It is Honesty Hour.
Whatever you want to talk about, I will talk about anything except
for the host,
any secret NDA stuff. I will talk about it.
Secret what?
Secret NDA stuff.
Cool, great. Okay, so
Although I will say that when I was doing cosplay stuff, I'm turning 30 on Tuesday, and there's like a thing burned into the back of my mind where our producer on reality TV, she was like, a little blush goes a long way. And then we were like not by any means fat or overweight or any kind of, any unhealthy thing. And she was just like, she looked at us and she goes, you have until you're 30. And then whatever size you are, that's what you are. So, randomly, I feel pretty good about myself, but randomly, that's like a little bit in the back of my mind of like, wow, thanks reality television for kind of messing me up in that way.
And that was not even like, that was Nerdist reality television. Which
No, that wasn't, well, that was sci-fi.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, I remember
No,
that.
Nerdist is full of wonderful people.
Yeah, that's a bunch of nerds and dorks.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes a little bit more sense with sci-fi because that would have been a union person and yeah. They're so jaded and angry about everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. I did one reality TV stunt and I was like, never again.
Did you really?
I directed a pilot that I'm thankful no one ever saw.
What?
And that nobody wanted to pick it up because that woman needs to die in a fire.
What was the
I'm sorry, but
what was the thematic like premise of the show? Like,
she thought she had an amazing life and that it was interesting enough to be a reality TV show.
were you working with Kim Kardashian?
Nope. That would have been far more interesting. No, it was a person who did all the jewelry for the famous rock and roll artists of the 80s, and used to be like a penthouse playmate kind of thing back in the 80s, and how they owned a bunch of strip clubs in LA, and she thinks her life is this crazy rock star thing, but she's kind of over 60, and she would say that her life was really crazy, and then you start putting a camera on it, and like anything reality TV, it has to be manufactured. Real life is boring as shit. Real life is boring for the most part. Like it's you have to manufacture moments to make it entertaining. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Yep.
You just have a bunch of people sitting in a crew waiting around for something to happen, and she didn't understand that. And the biggest problem is she was her own executive producer and putting the money behind the project.
Oh.
And had a bunch of people like giving her advice, but not good advice.
Yeah.
And I was fairly new to LA and took the job, I quit 2 months in, but I got about 80% of the project done, and it was interesting. Skid Row was living in her house. It was interesting. It was weird. Really weird.
I feel like awkwardness just lingers here.
Oh, that's the
Like it
internet.
like really lingers. Like it's not the internet. It's like this room. Like it's really bright. Everything's out in the open. Alex is going like this in the background.
I am not, you liar.
How does that make you uncomfortable?
Zach and I don't laugh at each other very often. Like we don't. So
talk to you.
instead of like an awkward, hilarious like that's just fun. It just sits and it becomes even. It's like a smell that lingers.
Oh, it was just Sebastian Bach killing Ross, which was really weird. Because the thing that was really weird about Sebastian Bach is he at least understood how reality TV was supposed to work, and he would manufacture his own moments because a camera was there. And it was super fucked up. Like, I'd be in a limo with him shooting some stuff, and out of nowhere, he'd get in a fight with his ex-wife about custody of their child.
Oh God.
Like, a bad one. And then afterwards, he'd be like, that was pretty good, right? I'd be like, that's your fucking life, man. No one asked you to do that. But he was doing it for the camera and would just like perform constantly.
You must have given off this energy of being like,
No, my constant energy was fucking kill me. This is the most miserable thing I've ever done in my life.
so maybe he was just trying to like win over your affection. He was like,
I don't know, man.
well, if that doesn't get him, let me just notch it up a little bit more.
I don't. I mean, I would be like, yeah, good job, dude. I'm like, way to go, man. The custody of your son is definitely something to
Trying to seek your approval.
make a fight on reality TV.
I understand that.
Hey!
Come on, Jess, get really honest. Pretend you're on Periscope.
See, but that's the thing. It's so open here. Periscope, it's like right at your face. There's like, you know, your senses are focused. This, it's just all over. Just weird music. Alex is doing this tap now. I'll be honest, this is not what I felt like Honesty Hour was when I've watched. I thought it was like dark on a couch.
It used to be.
Some popcorn or something.
Not even really. It was always kind of weird. Like, even when it used to just be Alex and I, and he would be in on Skype, there'd be like 3 other people behind the fucking TV in the studio just hanging out and doing weird stuff. And I'd have to act like I was having an honest, really deep conversation while people were doing shit like that in the background.
Malika's just doing her cardio now. She's just doing nerd fit back there.
That's kind of how, yeah.
I feel like
I don't know. It's
the magic
I've been
of
doing
television.
This weird Twitch stuff for a while now. None of this seems awkward at all to me, and that maybe is kind of fucked up. That I'm sitting here, we can have a really deep conversation, and there's 2 weirdos dancing behind a camera, and we're in front of all these lights in this weird dungeon-looking studio. And
all right, by the
totally
end of this, I'll be great at the format, and I won't.
I wish they keep saying the music is too loud, but there's no one here that's smart enough to turn it down. So, moving on there. So the sci-fi show came out before the documentary, the Morgan Spurlock documentary?
No. So I was in grad school. My friend Holly she had graduated and she was working at a special effects fabrication company. And she told me about this documentary. And this is like, I think 2010. And I was like, oh, okay.
Hey!
Money.
Always happy to see Jess #Lusthon3.
Thank you, Gaika.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, quick reminder, we're 3 subscribers away from our next giveaway. 3 subscribers. And if you have Amazon Prime and you have Twitch, you can link them together, make Twitch Prime. It's the best value you will find anywhere. Basically, Amazon was like, here's free shit. Take it. And you can actually subscribe to our channel using that. It's a free subscription sitting in your inbox. All you gotta do is link them together, and hells yeah. If you look at it this way, Amazon Prime costs $7 a month, and a Twitch subscription is $5 a month. So you could kind of, for $2 extra, subscribe to a channel while getting access to free movies, Prime shipping, free music, and Prime now is giving you free games every month with your Twitch Prime.
What?
And discounts on physical games and DLC that will only be available. Pretty cool. Impossible to
Yeah!
Subscriber.
And we dance! Wait, what?
What? Did we get another one?
Yeah, Jess WOOOO and the guy there.
Woo! 2 more subscribers, and then I'll tell the story about how lesbians are people.
Cool, I didn't know that was a story that needed to be told. Because I first knew you existed from that documentary.
Really? When did you watch that?
Right
No
when it
one
came
watched
out.
that. Really?
Yeah,
You didn't see it in the theaters, did you?
maybe.
Most people don't know that it was actually in the theaters. When it came out,
Look,
That's
I'm a
when I-
pretentious filmmaker, and Morgan Spurlock at the time was pretty hot on the documentary circuit.
Morgan's a really great guy. I met Stan Lee at the premiere for that movie, and he did the little like opening speech, and he was like, I saw this movie on a plane. I don't know where I am. I'm gonna go to sleep. And then he left, and that was his speech, and it was the most adorable Stan Lee moment ever. And since then, I've been worried about him.
I'm kind of worried about him for like the last 20 years.
I'm like, always. I'm
moment.
just like, oh my God. Okay, I said that in an elevator, and everyone was really mad at me. And I was like, what? It's the truth.
They're saying what documentary? What was the name of that documentary?
So the documentary is called Comic-Con Episode 4, A Fan's Hope. So my friend, she wanted to do this because she was making all these elaborate costumes with a lot of our friends, and I was coming in the summer, and I was going to make my costume. And she was using it as a way to be like a walking portfolio to get an art directing job in the film industry. And we were really naive, and we didn't know that didn't work that way. I screamed! Thank you for subscribing!
One away! Woo-hoo! From a stinky giveaway and a story about lesbians.
So she applied to be in the movie, and I was like, yeah. And I submitted her application for it and wrote like a letter of recommendation. She was the first person that Morgan picked, and so we filmed for that. And honestly, the final product is it's a great movie. It's really heartwarming. If you want to understand what Comic-Con is like and the feeling of it, watch the movie. It's great, and it's got cameos from literally every single person. And Guillermo del Toro talks about how he collects this really obscure thing, and he's like one of 2 people who collects it. And he gets in crazy bidding wars on eBay, and it's adorable. Look at his feet; they're so small. And so we filmed that, and that was kind of our introduction to what really was like baby reality TV. So that's how we got into things, and that's how Chris found out about us, and we started doing stuff with Nerdist. And then through doing stuff with Nerdist and my friend Chloe, she got cast in this weird, toddlers and tiaras reality show about cosplayers, and she asked Holly if we wanted to do it, and Holly called me and was like, "Where all of the most nerdy shit that you have, we're gonna go talk to a reality producer." And then that was 2 seasons of my life. And then I started doing YouTube stuff, and I started doing YouTube stuff after the documentary because Yeah, we did it!
Subscriber.
Active in the chat for Steam Key giveaway. Bam! 5 more for the next one. Active in that chat room. Malika, do you mind pulling a Steam Key winner for us?
She's gone.
I think she's in there. Somebody
She's never
is.
coming back.
Somebody's in there. Okay. So you and Holly became quite the team.
Yep, and we did that. We started doing Nerdist stuff. We originally we were signed up with Machinima as like one of the early people doing stuff with Machinima. We were gonna make a bunch of YouTube videos, and then we decided not to. And you can actually, I think our channel is like gotten
Hey,
closed.
Featherhat, thank you for that follow. Appreciate
But
it.
yeah.
Cool. Did you enjoy it?
What part?
All of it.
All of it?
The work, the being on camera, the responsibility of, trying to keep the content up to date and all that kind of stuff. Like, was it something you enjoyed? Because you didn't do it full time. You
No, I always had a job because, again, I had to make lots of money so that my mom wasn't going to the almshouse. So I always had a few jobs. But I did enjoy being a small business owner. I liked shaping and conceptualizing and evangelizing, a brand that was all ours. I loved working with my best friends, and I liked the creativity that I feel like I took into my other work. There was a lot of stuff that was total bullshit though. Like, reality TV is awful. I don't regret doing it because I learned a lot of good things. I met a lot of wonderful people. My eyes were open to the world, but it's awful. And there should not be a voice in the back of my head that's like, when you turn 30, you will never lose weight. Like, that's awful. Like, a little blush goes a long way. Fuck you. That's horrible. Horrible to say to like a 24-year-old
I
girl.
feel like that's some of the least offensive stuff I've heard on reality sets, though.
Oh yeah, no.
You guys got out easy. If
We
that's the case.
totally did.
That shit fucks actresses up for life.
Yeah. And honestly, I know a lot of girls in LA a lot of actresses, a lot of people who have all kinds of just, wonderful things and awful things going on. And that is part of LA that I do not miss, and I do not regret leaving and kind of walking away from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love being a content creator. I don't love the kind of awful side of it.
Money.
Jessica, I wasn't at you slapping Claudia Black in that video. Tell me she was a wonderful person.
That was me slapping Claudia. It was all her idea. That was part of my community management job, was coming up with some content, because I discovered that our most watched content with BioWare was our voice actor interviews, which, I think now with the massive success of things like Critical Role, obviously the power and charisma and energy of voice actors is widely apparent. But back in the day, like a few years ago when I was doing that stuff, like no one was leveraging that, and they were just showing like combat trailers, and it was like, okay, let's like bring the personality in. So I started doing a series. You can go to the BioWare based YouTube channel, which was my channel that I started when I was at BioWare, and see me slapping Claudia Black in the face. You can also see Alex Wilton Regan spitting over and over on someone that I managed. He claimed he didn't enjoy it.
It's interesting because I've only met a couple people in LA that I didn't like, and I thought it was really easy for me to get away from them if I needed to. And I found that I guess I was really fortunate to get kind of involved with the right kind of nerd producers and people, and the comedy group. Like the comedy community was really tight knit. And I was making fun of UCB earlier, and I saw somebody say like, "Was your teacher Matt Besser?" And I was like, "Well, somebody's taken some classes to even know that."
Money.
Much love to both of you. Hashtag Overlord 2020.
That's right. Get it trending.
Get it. I'll be Veep.
And I actually worked on a project with Matt Besser. He's kind of a huge dick. Really talented guy. Huge dick. It was a really funny email exchange because he owed one of the producers a favor, and we were trying to get him to come out for this scene, and he kept making excuses about why we had to change our entire schedule to adhere to his or whatever. And somebody said, and then he made some excuse about his dog, and he couldn't, like, his dog would have to be let out, so he could only do it for a certain amount of time. And then the producer came back with, like, "I'll totally pay for a dog sit or whatever." And then he wrote back, "Can you not take the hint that I just don't want to fucking do it? I'll be there for that time and that time only." I was like, damn! And everyone was CC'd on that email. Like,
Oh my god. It was a shamey email.
Oh man, and it was like, whoa, all right, man. And he was super unhappy to be there, which I get because it was a bullshit web series that he shouldn't have had to be a part of. I get it. Alex did all the sound on that web series. Yeah. But really talented. Holy shit, talented dude. But I was really fortunate to get involved with the comedy kind of community, which was really tight knit and supported itself a lot and kind of helped like promote people up from the inside and stuff. So I didn't have too many experiences with really shitty people.
Yeah.
Most of my shittiest experiences actually came with doing kind of ad work with companies outside of LA. Like people that were like hiring us to do lower like production value, not lower production value, lower cost projects.
Yeah.
And it was always the lower cost projects that I had the most problems with, like the people being the biggest dicks and the biggest assholes with just completely unreasonable expectations.
That sounds like just corporate bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I definitely, like, looking back right now, I don't think that there's anyone, I can't think of anyone in the world that I actually, like, know and have interacted with that I'm like, fuck that person. It definitely took me years to get to that place, and I think part of that is just being emotionally immature, and part of it is being in overwhelming situations where like you automatically go to a defense mechanism and like fight or flight mode. But right now, honestly, like I think everyone is just trying to fucking live their life and just, you know, be who they are. And more often than not, people are not really thinking about other people. They're thinking about themselves and whatever, not in a negative way. And people just don't have, and I certainly don't have enough energy to expend on just, you know, being a big bitch to people. So I think that thinking
This takes
that
energy?
about other way. Yeah, a lot of energy. But I will also say, and I don't know if this is just like, I don't want to pull the woman card, but I do think that there's a lot of like toxic female friendships in LA that, you know, I never experienced on like working on Twitch stuff with you. You ran a pretty like egalitarian, like everyone was just in this and we just all have to work hard kind of thing. Like you didn't like nurture ego or
I tried not to. It's really hard to keep.
Can't stand it. Can't wait for it to fill.
Oh shit!
it's like a nice feeling. Bouncy.
Yeah, we tried. Which was tough too, because you did have a lot of people coming through that sometimes there were people that would come through there that had some pretty large egos. But for the most part, I think Twitch would humble people pretty quickly. I actually know for a fact that happened with a couple guests that came through that got really uncomfortable by not understanding why people who they thought nobody knew was getting more attention in the chat room than they were. I think it could humble people really quickly.
Yeah.
Because they'd come in with an ego and then 10 minutes in see that these hosts that they didn't know at all and didn't think had any like following whatever would get more attention than they would. And oh shit.
Well, and the thing I like about Twitch is on like YouTube or on TV, you like do your thing and then you can be whoever it is that you actually are. Like I don't begrudge YouTubers. I do this to a certain extent. Everyone postures and has a version of themselves that they present to the world or different people. Remember me as a kid, I was like 20 different people just so no one would be mad at me and everyone loved me, which is, you know, really messed up. But everyone does this. But one of the first things that you talked to me about was like, hey, you can do that, but when you are streaming for 3 hours, that act is gonna drop and then you're just gonna be who you actually are and the chat's either gonna like that or they're not.
Yeah.
And
You have to be pretty real.
yeah, you are yourself. No one can be like, for like 8 hours. I mean, some people can, but they're the
It's
exception,
exhausting.
not the rule.
If they do that, it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
It's
like you don't want to
absolutely
watch
exhausting.
a person do that for 8 hours straight. It's crazy.
Some people can get away with it. For the most part, you see through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's different like rehearsing something and performing it than it is just going out and doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely think I had a lot of like wonderful magical adventures in LA, but there was definitely like, you know, witnessing people with eating disorders and people who were just like pushing themselves to the point of exhaustion and beyond and hospitalizing themselves over like a stupid web series, and it's
I'm
just
glad I didn't have to experience that kind of shit. Well, for one, I try to stay away from that stuff. I feel like the second I might see warning signs of that kind of situation, I remove myself. And I try to work with my own crew, which is harder too, because it's harder to then get those opportunities.
Yeah.
Like my kind of whole thing throughout my entire life has been refusing to adapt on my morals and principles based on what it might take, you know, like, and just sticking to it. And the second something goes against my morals and principles, I'm fucking out. Like, I'm out. Which might make it to where we'll never get to that point of like doing the really, really, really big stuff. But if I can sleep at night, which I don't, I'll feel better about it, you know? Like having a clean conscience on that stuff is much better, I think.
And I think for me,
hey, thank you for that follow.
Thank
Anna
you.
Goes Nuts.
all of the opportunities that I got that were lasting ones and important ones were from just having integrity. Like I met Felicia when I was at BioWare and I did stuff with her when she was a voice in one of our games, Mark of the Assassin. It's great. And I think that she continued to talk to me because I wasn't trying to get anything from her. I was just like, yeah, you're cool. You know, sorry that I probably said something snarky about you on Twitter like 5 years ago. You know, bad on me. Don't be a girl who hates on other girls. It's just bullshit. And you know, people like Chris and in LA, you will run into so many people who are working on so many projects. And if you are not like a desperate, needy person, you will just get more opportunities afforded to you because people are more likely to trust that you're not just trying to get something from them, which so many people are. And I think that at the end of the day, even if nothing happens, you can go to sleep at night and not sleep, but, you know, not have crazy anxiety about whether or not you're a good person.
Yeah, I think the scary thing is a lot of the people who are able to be that way don't think about that question at all, and that's why they're able to be that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Because I have met those people, but I've met them not just in LA. I've met them all over the world, and even up here, too.
They're everywhere.
They're fucking everywhere. Narcissists are everywhere. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple questions from Discord so people don't think I'm ignoring them.
That's kind of you.
The Baronator wants to know if Hyper RPG is going to be making a showing at MechCon in Vancouver. I do not believe so. Malika, are you going to Vancouver for MechCon?
I could. Should I?
It's up to you. I know Malika's talked about going.
If I wore those giant robot slippers that make noise when I walk around, would I like fit in? I hope so.
And then you bring kaiju.
Oh yeah. I don't think they allow dogs in a hotel room.
You can poop everywhere.
Yeah, you can poop everywhere.
Does anybody want to go? I was offered a ticket because I.
It looks like Baronator's going, but okay. So Battle Liquor says it's been a few weeks. Do we know why the Vanquished intro is lagging? Seems like something on the broadcaster side, not the client. The video encoding is fine. I think it's a problem with the way it's layered when she's playing it. Because if you guys noticed last week when she played it a second time, it didn't skip at all. So I think she might accidentally have a couple layers turned on underneath it, which is causing the program to overload. Like, it is a higher bitrate because it was an animation file, but the encoding is fine. So I think it's something with the program itself being too layered when she's doing it. Like, if she has the other shot that's about to show underneath it when she plays it, it might be overloading the program. Krellin asks, so Zach, with 1 day of data, is Cineverse worth it? Krellin, I think we need to work on tact with you a little bit. Like, maybe just a little bit. I feel for you, though, Krellin, because I feel like you're me before I learned how to be on camera and be a little bit more positive about the way I word things, and I'm still kind of a dick.
Did you learn that?
I did, believe me. Believe me, Alex. I'm a lot, yeah. Varen, thank you for that follow. And it's ironic because Krellin was the one that used to complain all the time that I was too salty on camera. But
Perfect.
But that's a really kind of a dick question. So Zach, with 1 day of data, is Cineverse worth it?
Well, maybe he would have said it in a cheeky, winky way if he had been here in person.
Maybe. Text makes it really weird.
That's why
it doesn't really sound dickish to me. Whatever.
But
it didn't to you?
No. Not at all.
That's why
Cineverse worth it? Cineverse is worth it because it's an amazing show that we're excited to bring over to the channel. So yes, it's worth it.
The chemistry alone, come on.
Yeah, the chemistry alone. And it's a show of people who are passionate talking about the things they're passionate about, which is exactly what I like. Those are the things I like. Okay. Question, can we use smile.amazon and your referral at the same time? I don't know. That's a Emily question. It looks like she actually responded with no, I don't think so. Can the Amazon link for Hyper default to all departments? It's a tiny annoyance, but every time I use the referral link that's switching from comic books to all departments, it's kind of annoying, especially to buy a lot of crap on Amazon. I think you made one, right, Malika? Did you make one where you can just click on Amazon and it just goes to Amazon with our referral link? There's no link to that? It just says click here to go to Amazon?
Yeah, and then it goes to the comic book page because I wasn't given the generic one. But as soon as you give me the generic one,
Well, Emily will get you a generic one. All right,
Gypsy Danger says BS answer.
It's a BS answer. It was worth it.
Because you didn't talk about the data or anything, I guess.
Oh, you want me to sit here and talk about data? You guys want to get really depressed and have me sit here and talk about data about how we're not making enough money again? You want me to do that?
Business
No,
intelligence
you don't.
is really sexy.
Yeah, of
Sarita,
course
it
it
actually
is.
had over 1,000 most of the time.
Considering
so
it's the only show we've ever done on this channel to get over 1,000 views natively, it's fucking worth it. What more do you want me to say? No other show we've ever had on this channel has done that organically. Not one. So technically right now it's more worth it than anything else we do. So it was a good move. We could get challenge accepted, says Malika. I think our other shows are good enough. I think they're far good enough, but nobody knows they exist. So whatever. All right, continuing on. How often, if at all, have viewer suggestions and ideas influenced or changed Hyper? I'm not asking about general feedback, but actual suggestions in places like Discord. All the fucking time, More to Steal. Like, every week. Every week. I would say every single week we make some sort of suggestion and actually put it into our, enacted on the channel. All the fucking time. So should we be glad for Cineverse or just sad for all the other shows? Sad for all the other shows. Honestly.
Thanks for
If
following.
you want me to be completely honest with you, like you're asking for, yes, thank you for that
Thank you for
follow.
that follow.
You thought you saw DFA get 1K viewers during the finale because of front page support. Every show that we've had that's ever gotten to 1K viewers is because of front page rotation, except for that one. And you should be sad for the other shows. Yes, you should be sad for the entire fucking network because we're putting a ton of resources, time, and money into everything that we produce here and working extremely hard every single week to make those shows amazing. And for some reason, people decide they only want to check out one thing without giving other things a chance. So I think that's something we'll have to work on with Cineverse. Is a lot of people came over to watch that and thought, cool, this show exists here, but I'm not going to check anything else out. There were actually people in the chat room saying stuff like, I'm so glad there's something I'll watch now on this channel. It's like, dude, you're a dick. Like, you haven't even watched anything. So I think it's going to take a while to convince people who are watching the new shows to come over and check out all the other content that we make, because it's good content that I'm extremely proud of. But yeah, you should be sad for them because they should be getting way more viewers at this point.
In all fairness, though, someone might not be into any of the other shows, but like Cineverse, and so they're like, "Oh, cool, a reason to subscribe to Hyper RPG."
No,
and
in
then
all
they get money,
fairness-
it's like that's cool.
In all fairness, that might happen, but I would say if they like Cineverse, there's at least 2 other shows in this channel they'll like. At least.
Yeah.
I think that we do enough varied programming with different ideals and concepts that if they like one, it'll bleed over to another.
Yeah, you suck though.
Alex is helping right now.
Alex is
really
a
helping.
helper.
Alex, why don't you go back to that room and sit down out of sight again? Because I felt a lot better when you were not in my eye line.
I think it's more balanced this way.
Cool, great. But yeah, More to Steal, we take suggestions all the time. I know especially for the metagame, Ryan is enacting them constantly. We take suggestions when it comes to merch, when it comes to like those trailers that we're doing, like the extra work we're putting into it because of the actual work that we put in it. Rob Alloy, thank you for that. Didn't know the channel existed until yesterday. Well, thank you for checking it out. Okay, watch it for the children. Is that Malika typing or somebody else? No, and I'm not, again though, I'm not trying to bum you guys out, but I do feel sad for all of our other shows because everyone works extremely hard. Like, this is not the kind of thing where people have, now for the most part, we spread things out way better than I did in the past, and that wasn't my decision. But things here we work much harder on rising all ships at once. All ships at once. We don't want to make one show more important than any of them. So I will make sure that the concession stand guys spread the love and try to support all the other shows, because I think it's extremely important that all shows support each other. I do not want to be in a situation like the last channel. I do not want to be in a situation where people are asking every 5 minutes when a certain show is on why other hosts are working their asses off on camera. That is the most, like, when people do that shit, it's like, wow, you don't realize how disrespectful that is to the people working their asses off in that moment who get no respect. So
Everyone reads the chat.
everyone reads the chat. So we want to work really hard to make all shows rise at once. All at once.
That's lovely.
Yep.
That's nice. It's a nice
So
sentiment.
see, Ozai75
crying
says
right
Zach, you'll end up. See, Ozai says Zach, you'll end up pulling them over, just like Critical Role was a gateway drug for the other channel. No, it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That was the problem. It was not a gateway drug. It became way too focused on the one show. Honestly, the rest of the channel numbers have dropped all around on GNS since I was there, like all of them except Critical Role. So it did not spread out. In fact, it did the opposite. It just honed in on one thing, and a lot of that has to do with how it's presented. It's not being like presented in a way that's like spread evenly, so you end up in a situation where people become extremely entitled who are fans of that show, not supporting all the other things, which the other things were really good, and we had great hosts like Jess doing a show.
Please.
That people were not giving proper respect because they weren't told that they needed to. Like, so much of it's about community management. and it's about telling people that they should care about the other things. And
Times New Conan, you're the exception to the rule.
what is that?
And thank you for that.
No, a lot of people, okay, Times New Conan, when there's 30K consecutive viewers, you're going to have a lot of people who say, I came to GNS because of the show and then watch other shows. A lot of them will, but the data doesn't fucking lie. The data does not lie.
That's why it's so sexy.
Yeah, and I can tell you after looking at the data a lot last year, it didn't spread the way it should have, and a lot of that was because of the messaging, and that can be fixed, and that's why we're doing it differently here.
It's the messaging. It's also the support that's put into it.
If only one show supported.
If one show is like massive, has budget behind it, and then everything else is just like, tin can
Let's
talking.
get real for a little bit. We couldn't get more than $25 to do a craft show. Let's get fucking real for a little bit.
Well, let's be honest. For most of the show, I was paying for everything.
Yeah, let's get really real for a little bit. I bought the video games on that fucking channel. We didn't even have a video game budget. We couldn't even buy crafts for your fucking show.
No,
when you have one show getting paid a lot of money and getting supported and everything else is left to rot, that's why it happens. Because even the vacuum exists from a back end and a front end standpoint. So you have to spread it out evenly. You have to spread it out evenly, and you have to support everything at once. And there has to be proper respect shown. There was no respect shown for the fact that Critical Role grew the way it did because it was on the front page. If it wasn't on the front page, it wouldn't have happened. So when it got front page, the smart thing to do would have been to take that opportunity and use it to promote everything else on the channel when it was happening, but it didn't. It didn't. It only focused on itself, not because of the host. Not because of the host. I want to make it really clear, the Critical Role clan is amazing, and they're some of the nicest people in the world, and they want all ships to rise, but it has to do with how you handle it. And it wasn't handled correctly. It was handled very irresponsibly. And you have to use those opportunities where you have a locked hero player to know that that's free fucking marketing that you will never get. It costs like $20K. And you have to properly focus on it and spread it out evenly. So that's what we're trying to do here, is spread it out evenly across the channel, make sure all ships rise at once. I don't want to be a situation where one show gets support and the other shows don't.
Well, you notice that on even on basic cable, if certain shows are getting advertised on commercial breaks for other shows, if a show is struggling, they move it into the time slot to be with a very popular show. And, if they didn't do things like that, you would have Grimm on NBC and piles of dog shit around it. It just is not a sustainable model, and it doesn't work anywhere else in the entertainment industry. Not saying that Twitch aligns exactly to all those things, but just when you're thinking about broadcasting, when you're thinking about formats and different shows, they have to support one another, and they have to be in a network of communicating. Otherwise things just go and die somewhere, and then there's just one thing, and that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
Yep. It's
the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
It's true, and you have to properly be handling that up. So I think that we want to work on that really extremely. So I get sad when I see people just come into a chat room and be like, I only want to support this. It's so dangerous. Community management is so important for Twitch, and you have to make sure that everyone feels like they're a part of the same family. And that's why somebody was suggesting that they're like, what are we gonna name ourselves now? It's no, you're Thumpers. If you're here on this channel and you're watching, you're a part of this family. If you start trying to create yourself into separate groups, you're hurting the community that already exists. And it's about being a part of the same team. And that's why they were excited to come over, is because we are like a family here. And we want everyone to be a part of the same movement and be a part of the same experience that has a shared unique vision, not one vision that's true to its one show, a vision that's spread out across the entire channel. So yes, Thumper Pride on that instance. We want to all rise together.
And I'm gonna be honest, wrestling isn't a bad thing.
Wrestling? What?
Yeah, Chat was talking about sci-fi, instead of swapping out quality programming, they put in wrestling. When I saw Max Landis's, and I have many opinions on Max Landis, but when I saw wrestling as a wrestling, I was like, well, damn. Wrestling is actually kind of interesting. So, maybe sci-fi is just, you know, making a grab for viewers, or maybe wrestling is like the biggest operetta you've ever seen. I don't know. You decide. Next question.
Next question. Zach, what can a lower income person without many friends of similar interests do to spread the word about HyperRPG? I want to help out in any way I can, but there seems to be a disconnect with people when I tell them about this place. There's a stigma associated with Twitch in some circles. Any tips for how to get around that? Dude, I feel your fucking pain. I feel your pain because we encounter this daily. When we tell people about Twitch, hey, thank you, Robin Fear. When we tell people about Twitch, it almost hurts us, especially when we're starting initial conversations with someone, because they have an idea in their head of what Twitch is. And most people, when you tell them Twitch, will type in twitch.tv, and they'll see a bunch of stuff on the front page that they're like, I might not connect with them anyway. And they don't realize that there's this whole world out there of people cooking food, people doing arts and crafts, people doing role-playing games and storytelling, people sitting here and talking about stuff. They have no idea. So I feel your pain. It's hard to get that message across. What I've done sometimes, if they don't fully understand what Twitch is send them to our YouTube instead. And I'll send them to the HyperRPG YouTube, and if there's something that they like, if there's something they're into, I'll be like, yo, check this thing out. And that might give them a better entryway, because a lot of people, if they like something on YouTube, they want to experience it live and they'll come over. Varshal, what's up? I see Yo Zach. The chat's moving really fast.
They were asking about the red egg.
I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. So Redraw came here because of the YouTube channel. Yeah. Varshal, I'm not gonna tell you about that. You'll just have to Google it. Jess, any chance we can see more of you on HyperRPG?
I would love that. I kind of have, when I moved up here, I wanted to think about my priorities, figure out what I was doing, get established, hire literally 7 people, unpack 30,000 pounds worth of fucking stuff that I don't need. Like, don't buy stuff. Eventually you're gonna die and someone's gonna have to deal with it. Like, just seriously. Like, every time I pick something up to buy it, I'm like, someday someone's gonna have to deal with this stupid tchotchke. Do I really need this ceramic bunny? No. And then I put it down.
I think that's the most I've ever related to you on something.
It's awful. It's horrible. Like, fucking what would Nisi say on Clean House? Edit. Get rid of it. No. But so I
just burned the studio to the ground right now.
Get rid of it all. It's all just nonsense. We're all gonna die someday. But so I wanted to kind of take time and reprioritize and be like, am I just doing on camera stuff because I want to be like a shallow, vapid, famous person? And then I started acting out at work and like trying to make people laugh in meetings. And I realized that intrinsically, it's just something that I need and makes me happy. And so I made some changes on my personal channel where I took away like the sub numbers and took away like goals and things like that. It was just like, I'm not doing this to get popular, to get a bunch of people who follow me, who do whatever. I would totally quit social media if it meant that people at work weren't like, oh, you must be good at your job because you have this many followers. Or the fact that I would not get to interact with all of you. I would totally not need that anymore. But I think having that time, being away for a few months, made me realize, okay, actually, even if I'm just talking to 2 people and we're hanging out on Twitch and laughing and joking, that is intrinsically worth it. And I think that extrinsic and intrinsic motivation are really good to define. So I've also tried to be a more open person and do more things and say yes more. So that's why I did the fitness show on Saturday.
Which, thank you for coming to that.
I tried so hard.
Honestly, we want to hear more. I know a lot of you guys didn't tune in for the fitness show.
You should. It was great.
But I'd like to hear more about what you thought about, because it's something Malika wants to really do, and I need to gauge whether or not it's worth our time and energy.
Thank you, Kellen
She
Ross.
really wants to do it. She thinks it would be great. And I
want to do wellness.
A wellness kind of thing.
You know, let's talk about wellness.
Let's talk about wellness. This is a show where we talk about our inward stuff.
Maybe we can work out.
And she wants to work out.
But it could also incorporate food and just positive thinking and that kind of stuff.
Oh, you guys are so cute. My butt's vibrating.
Jess, I'm with you on the streaming thing, by the way. Like, when I stopped caring about followers or how many people were watching or anything like that, it's so much more fun.
Yeah.
Like, you have a way better time.
It would be great.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, I think that's the difference.
It would be great.
That's the difference between streaming for your own person and when you don't need it. Like, there was a 6-month period where my whole life was reliant on other people buying things from me, going to conventions and people like coming to see me, Twitch donations. So I understand that you know, even for individual streamers, that's not a luxury that they can just be like, it doesn't matter. It does matter to a lot of people, but you know, I'm never going to be in a position where I can just quit my job and, you know, make that same amount of money just, you know, like making people laugh on Twitch. So what I can do is figure out how I can fit that into my time. And that's something that I like really, really care about, because everyone's all like, follow your dreams until it kills you and your legs are all chopped off and you're just bloody stumps. And that's, I think, kind of a dangerous expectation to set. You don't necessarily have to be getting paid for the thing that motivates you to wake up every day. If you can fit it in a little bit at a time, like, there's no reason you should be like in incredible amounts of debt just so that you can be, quote, following your dreams. Some people can do that. That's fine. That's great. Some people do that and make it. But if you're just doing something that you really love and something that makes you happy for no one else, that's fine too.
Ozai75, I saw this question earlier, so I'll address it now. If I'm worried about trying to raise all shows at the same time and that'll end up with mediocrity and not greatness, bring it, motherfucker. That's what I gotta say. Bring it. One of our shows is as highly produced, if not more, than 90% of everything else that's out there where one show is that produced. So fucking bring it. We might be trying to raise all shows up at once, but when all of those shows are at a higher quality level and an actual like growth level than almost anything else out there, that's not a concern of mine. I think that I would rather create super fans than average viewers. I would much rather prefer, as a data point, people who are super, super connected to the entire channel as a whole, than one show getting like super popular. Because that, if one show gets super popular, that's not helping you. You're not creating the super fans that are.
Money. Wait, what was Jess saying about debt? I could use some help.
That was Kanye. That was Kanye.
Oh, Kanye. But at the same time, like, you're not just saying like, let's just let everything happen willy-nilly. Like, you give notes, you tell people how to improve. Like, you're very.
Or we work on each show. No, some of that stuff isn't even necessarily working with the host. It's like working on the back end. Like, you know, like we just changed the setup for Shadowrun, and Ryan is working so many hours on that metagame. So many fucking hours.
He's just playing with you, Ozai.
I know you're not critiquing me. I know you're not critiquing me, Ozai. I'm just making a point. I'm using your question to make a point. I'm not worried about ever us getting into a range of mediocrity. I think that the shows that we're doing are far above that. Mediocrity isn't our problem. Discoverability is our problem. It's definitely not mediocrity.
You don't seem like the kind of person who settles.
No. No, I'm never happy.
Ever.
I wish I had known that earlier.
No, I'm always thinking we could do this better. I'm always thinking that. So.
It really is. We hear it every single day.
Well, yeah. Marv wants to know when the next Redneck War is. I don't know, man. I'm really busy right now. It's really hard for me to find time right now. So I'll let you guys know the second I know. Cashew wants to know how you're doing since your health issues earlier this year.
Oh, so I have a hole in my heart, but so that's maybe why I had like a weird stroke. It's actually, so a lot of things are happening all at the same time. I started a few months ago getting really, really insane bouts of vertigo, like where I would just feel like I was on a roller coaster all of a sudden, and I had to just kind of be still and stop. And I have, not that, you know, it's not important, but I have gained like a significant amount of weight, which is weird for me because I think when you're used to just kind of being crazy and busy and stressed, you don't necessarily eat the best things, but it doesn't negatively impact you. So all of a sudden gaining like 60 pounds over a few years is huge, and gaining like 20 pounds in a few months is pretty disrupting. But I'm luckily at a place where, one, I'm not doing shit on YouTube all the time where people point that shit out.
That's not necessarily healthy.
What? No, but that's like when you
Mentally.
were coming to terms with like your body being like weird shapes that you're not used to. When like people are saying that over and over on the internet at you, like that's also not a great way to overcome that. So that's been great that I could deal with that without people being like, oh hey, nice boobs, fatty. That's just, you know, not ideal. But
Yay, the internet.
so I have a hole in my heart. It's actually fairly common. There's just some hole in your heart that's supposed to close when you're a baby, and you know, like many parts of my life, that did not happen for me. And so they're looking into if that's been causing like the really awful migraines that I've been having, and there's just some other hormonal things that are going on. But ultimately, it's very weird because I've never had so many health problems that are like condensed into one 6-month period. But at the same time, emotionally and like wellness wise, I feel super happy,
Oh, yeah?
super joyous. Feel like
So you're liking it up here?
I love it. I mean, it's I miss so many things about LA, and I do miss being creative all the time. But I think that I am really recharged by nature in a way that I think that I took for granted. Like I was in this really like overly nerdy environmental club when I was a kid, and I like was an expert in soil science, and so I always used to go camping and go on trips. And when I lived in LA, I never did that. Like seeing a tree was something that, you know, we expect them all to be a little brown and sad. So driving through,
You're like when it's hot out, you're like, oh fuck, they're gonna catch on fire.
I know, like
Don't stand next to that tree, it might implode.
we don't have seasons. We have like fire season, earthquake. Like it's sad. LA is so wonderful in so many different ways. I grew up in the desert, and so that's not beautiful to me. That's just like dead and awful, even though, you know, desert is thriving, blah blah, whatever, it's great. So having just driving through farms and forests and everything up here has been, I think, something that I had no idea how much that would be helpful. Having my dogs, it just really recharges me. Animals just make you happy because they're so derpy and smiley all the time. So yeah, I think I'm a lot happier. I think probably if we were spending more time together, you would see that in like a weird way, that you'd be like, who the fuck are you? You're not this like angry person who is complaining about how everything's like not right. So I don't know, it's been good. It's been weird, but
Hey, thank you, Road Plum, for that follow.
thanks, Road Plum.
Well, I'm glad that you're mentally like feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely more important. So is your job less stressful too?
No, it's super stressful, but it's when you have like a certain level of responsibility and respect, and people aren't making you like crunch all the time. Like in the entertainment industry, working 12 hours a day is normal. Like, and if you're the first person to go home, you look like the slacker. And here, everyone has, yeah, games too. Like I was crunching all the time in games. And even though I come from, in the studio that I work with, everyone comes from gaming, there's a huge priority on work-life balance and getting your work done and going home. Working more hours isn't necessarily seen in the area that I'm in as being more successful. It's just seen as being inefficient. So Microsoft hates inefficiencies. So that's been pretty crazy. Like today, I got stuck in 40-minute traffic going home because I left at like a normal time and was like, oh, this is rush hour. I never deal with rush hour because I go to work at like 7 and leave at like 10. So I have not had to do as many of those, which also benefit your health in many ways that you can't imagine.
Yeah, like the thing about the constant crunch is it's not sustainable. As far as
It's not? What do you mean? What are you talking
not
about?
sustainable.
Why is it not sustainable, Alex?
Because
Alex, what are you trying to say, Alex?
You eventually start making mistakes.
What are you talking about,
and
Alex?
You die.
Well, we're all gonna
gonna die
one day,
anyway.
Alex.
If we've learned nothing, this
When
is
I
what
pick up
we've
that
learned.
that like, yeah. When I go to the store and I pick that thing up, I'm like, I might as well not buy it. I'm just gonna die one day. Okay. So Colin says, Zach, I don't know that the I'm out of money isn't helpful because it is a data point. You're not doing anything wrong. I just don't have anything more I can give. If that's true to any other large donors, that's useful information. And I agree with you, Krellin. Like, the thing is, like, I don't want you guys to even feel pressured that you need to tell us that you're out of money. Like, that's not our business. I don't need to know that. We're keeping track of the data. You know, and we've known for a while that eventually people are going to be like, dude, I can't keep tipping to this channel. So we're always trying to find new ways to engage, new things, find sponsors and things like that. It's just that kind of like, always, you know, like we need more viewers to get sponsors and blah, blah, blah. And hopefully as we pull in new viewers, we can start getting more sponsors and stuff like that. So, he also asked, Zach, is Lucas okay? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Good night, Impossible Girl. Thanks for subbing.
Lucas's, yeah, thank you, Impossible Girl. Lucas's business is Lucas's business. You can ask Lucas if he's okay. I'm not going to speak to someone else's feelings.
Lucas doesn't have feelings. Oh my god.
He's the chillest person.
Iterator5 says, do people here really want the whole host dance and distracting noises when people donate/sub thing? I love the content in the community, but it's really distracting and interrupting. The host just seems it only derails interesting curated content here. Iterator5, I wish the data was wrong, but since before even Twitch Prime, and we brought Dancing for Subs back, a 300% rise in subscribers. And I knew that would happen. I knew it would, and I kept it from happening because I didn't want people to think we were copying JNS. And then I was like, well, that's stupid. I came up with the idea in the first place, so we're just going to keep doing it because it does help. And certain shows, we do not interrupt what's going on. So, yeah, it also, you say it's depressing. I actually think it's really important because sometimes the hosts getting that subscription and them dancing for it boosts their energy. And it helps them a lot on camera because when that dance happens, they remember they're being appreciated and they get excited and they want to be a part of it. It makes them in that moment get an immediate feeling of validation and excitement. So that being said, most of the RPGs we don't interrupt, which does hurt. I can tell you that we get more subscribers on shows where we're sitting here talking to you guys than we get on any of our RPGs. And our RPGs are far better shows. Technoslade 86. They're far better shows, but they don't necessarily get as many subscribers because there's no interaction. YouTube is if you want to watch content without interruption. Twitch is about interaction. It at its heart is about creating interaction for the viewers and the viewers being able to move back and forth. So,
Money. Someone told me that Zach is in reality a sweet little panda man. Is this true?
It's so true.
a sweet little panda man?
Underneath those clothes, he's a
It's
panda.
a panda and a man.
And a little panda.
Very sweet.
And super sweet.
And panda man.
Panda.
Yeah, I think it might upset you as an individual, but it's one of those things that the data doesn't lie. It really helps, and the hosts enjoy it too. But we do not interrupt the shows that shouldn't be interrupted. We just don't. So Vanquished, Shadowrun. Now, we don't interrupt the RPG elements of DFA, but the actual role-playing element, or the game like tabletop element, only works because we interrupt. If those interruptions weren't there, that show wouldn't work and we wouldn't make any money. And the monetization model that we've created, if those interruptions didn't exist, people wouldn't tip to troll me and see my reaction on screen. Those things have to happen for this channel to survive. I exist to be made fun of on the internet, but it keeps the channel alive, so it's fine.
Your new name is Xanda.
Xanda!
Xanda, great. Fucking great.
That panda's too happy.
Too happy? It's a
He's
too
that
happy panda.
sweet panda.
Helldog28 and Kurt Jordan 1962. Thank you for those follows. Very much appreciate it. Okay. Yes, thank you for that. Zach, what are some of the things you've been having Alex and Malika do this month? So Malika has been working extremely hard on the new website.
Ooh.
So Malika's been working really hard on the website. We'll have a new website for you guys very soon. It looks...
We've been up in the club getting trashed!
Alex has done absolutely fucking nothing and he's wasting my time.
Oh my God, Zach's paying for Friends.
I wanted him to work. I paid him to work.
I haven't seen any money.
Yeah, you'll get paid at the end of the fucking job.
Yeah, that's so you don't leave. Like skip town with the money. This is like Wild West rules.
Alex has been working on soundboards for our RPG shows, so... Oh, thank you. Hey, Feather Hat!
Subscriber.
Hey, thank you for that, and
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. LeAngelis, for that follow.
The other thing about doing the sub dances is it's not. I think that. Well, I don't want to say we make it look easy because you might be like, no, you guys make it look like shit. But I think it's not very natural to talk for 3 hours. So sub dances help kind of add a little jolt to wake people up, get them back at that higher energy level.
Well, then, right after that, Iterator5 says in Discord, so we're saying her pretty damn interesting life story isn't serious content. Here's the sad truth of it, Iterator. This show generates more subscribers than any other show on our channel, and it's necessary. If this show didn't drive those subscribers and we didn't have fun doing it and creating those interactions, the channel wouldn't work. That's just the sad reality. If you don't like it, it's a fun reality for most people. Most people watching enjoy that we're having fun and having a serious conversation.
Yeah.
If it was just serious, it can get really fucking sad.
But also, there's not like a bunch of prep that goes into this show. I think that
No,
when
none.
you say like this isn't a serious show, it also is not like there's a bajillion
No,
things of prep and
no,
all of these
not at all.
special things.
Oh no, we're
and-
sitting and having a conversation.
Yeah.
Way different. Oh my god, Mr. LeAngelis!
Subscriber.
Times New Ponin. Sometimes people are more likely to subscribe on shows where they get to know the host a little bit better, but not necessarily true. Lots of times it's when you get these kinds of reactions because we used to not dance on this show, did not drive subscribers.
We just yell.
We would just yell, and it didn't work. It didn't work. There's so much of this that taps into the psychology of like, you know what, I'm not gonna go on a whole long tirade about it because I already did that once today with like a 2-hour-long meeting of explaining how Twitch works, but
Yeah.
there's a lot that actually goes into it that's researched and actually,
What, really?
yeah.
Someday you'll write the book.
Yeah.
Or you'll ghostwrite the
I guess
book.
I appreciate your conversation, the value of the completed thought. And Iterator 5, I appreciate the question. I do know that a lot of the things we do on this channel isn't us just doing it for no reason. It's because I've been doing this for 2.5 years now and it's become my career. Fuck. So it's practice, it's research, we've looked into it, and we've figured out what works and what doesn't. And there's still things we're learning all the time. Some things I wish weren't that way. Like, some things we learn that I'm like frustrated that it is that way. And I'm like, fuck, well, I guess that's just what people want. But I'm not gonna get too deep into it. Like, sometimes it's just content too. Like, sometimes content that works on Twitch is stuff that I don't like. And I have to get over that.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, there's this show that we used to do called Minds and Crafts, and I just didn't like it. But mainly because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wasn't a fucking craft show where we were making really, really cool
Can
shit.
you imagine a craft show that like,
Had a budget?
yeah. Well, Zach and I, when we first started talking about the show, it was a very different show.
Yeah,
we
it
were
was.
having weird vegan tacos, and I accidentally insulted Zach, like the first of many times. And it was a very, very different show, very different model, and we had to stop doing that show, which was cosplaying, and do Minds and Crafts because it was less money and less time to do. But even that was a lot of money and time to basically have a show that, from the audience perspective, looked like no one cared and no one tried. But actually there was a lot of caring and a lot of trying that went into that to get it to the complete chaos that it was. I can't imagine a show where we actually like put in the work to do. That's just
I wanted
crazy.
It to be, I wanted it to be a show where we were actually making things because you had expert knowledge that the chat room could benefit from. My favorite ones were when Evil Ted was there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we got to actually make the bear because it was like, oh, we're learning things.
But that bear cost like $1,000.
And you paid for a lot of that.
I paid for a lot of it. Arslan, Denova, a lot of the chat paid for a lot of like the tools and supplies. We paid Ted in foam at a certain point, and like Zach got special permission to like get Ted paid, which was not precedented and not something that like
I know they were not happy about that.
We could do. And yeah, those were absolutely the best episodes, and I would have loved to do more stuff like that.
Money. I just like to make Zach think he has to dance. Also, hey, Japan. Good to see you, lady. Hashtag Neonut, hashtag hash browns.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah. But that being said, even though I wasn't happy with where it was going and I wanted it to be a certain way, the audience was enjoying it. And the thing about being a producer is just because you don't like something, if the community's into it, get the fuck over it. My job is to please the community, not to please myself. And I would actually have to have that fucking argument with people and be like, it's okay that I don't like it. Like, the show's not for me, it's for you all. You know, and I think sometimes there'll be other things. And when I was talking about data, I wasn't so much talking about you guys' show. There's actual, like, certain things that you have to do on Twitch with certain levels of engagement that I wish I didn't have to do, but that's just how the platform works. And I think sometimes when you are in charge of content, you have to put your feelings aside and your own personal likes and dislikes and just let it go and see what the community wants and what the community is into.
Can I point something out really quick that I couldn't ever do when I worked at my last company? And I don't want to turn this into a thing about this because I don't think anyone is like really enthralled about discussing any of this stuff. But when I was a host of Geek and Sundry, a lot of the time people, and I'm seeing in the chat now, talk about Legendary, and I just want you all to know, just like NBC might be owned by what, GE? NBC is NBC, it's not its parent company. There's a huge difference between Legendary, the film company that makes Godzilla, and LDN and Geek and Sundry and Nerdist, which is a subsidiary. But I promise you, the higher-ups at Legendary are making movies. They are not making decisions about Twitch channels.
The higher-ups at Legendary have nothing to do with it.
That was something that I was always really uncomfortable saying when I worked at Legendary, because I worked at, Papa Legendary, parent company, working on films like Pacific Rim and Warcraft. And they have absolutely no involvement in LDN, Geek and Sundry, Nerdist.
And
Most of those people probably like, what is that?
And that's what I mean by why you should be glad that you're not doing that community manager job right now, because people don't know that, and they keep tagging Legendary proper in all their complaints.
Oh yeah, you're tagging.
And they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you're tagging like the guy that used to work for me, and he ignores all those because it has nothing to do with what Legendary is doing.
Yeah.
Now yell at him about Warcraft, and he will pay attention. So I just want to point that out because it's the same thing as like yelling at GE for something that, NBC, if NBC cancels Hannibal, you better bet that GE does not give two shits about that. So I just wanted to say that because I've never been able to say that, but it's Honesty Hour and I can be honest.
Cool. Then that Iterator 5 says, who should we tag to yell at then?
You should tag...
Nobody. We're not going to tell you that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
You should tag who you think you should tag. But honestly, just remember that every person you're yelling at is a social media manager, not a CEO of a company.
Yep.
So when you are yelling at people and being cruel, you're being cruel to people like me or Emily or Malika or, sometimes like Zach and Alex if they happen to be like, tweeting from a channel or something. But you are almost never, ever, ever tweeting the decision makers. Social media managers make sentiment reports and talk about a lot of things, but your individual screaming at a Twitter account is almost never going to accomplish what you want.
Honestly, you guys could just, I like 99th Doctor's idea, you could just tag Keller if you guys want to make all your complaints to Keller.
No, Keller's Keller's my secret favorite.
He's my not secret favorite. He's my favorite. That's not a secret.
I love
Keller. You're the only person I miss.
I love Keller. I love Hector too. But Hector and I have a contentious relationship.
Zach, is it hard for you to internalize the truth that the vast majority of businesses lose money for at least their first year? Sometimes it seems like you're still expecting Hyper to grow like GNS did without the same support GNS got. I'm not expecting Hyper RPG to grow at any rate outside of how much money is left in the bank account. That's my gauge. So I'm trying not to look at Hyper and base it on any other stats of how small businesses do or how things compare or what things work and what things don't. I'm comparing it only to what we internally have and what we can continue doing. That's my only comparison. I don't even look at what other companies are able to do. I don't read small business journals or anything like that. I don't even fucking know what that shit is. I'm running my company and I'm only worried about what we're doing and how we're trying to make it work. That's it. I do want Ozai75. Apparently we missed a question you asked because somebody said they didn't want you to feel like we weren't hearing you. The chat room's moving really quick, so if we miss something, just post it again and I'll try to get to it.
Yeah.
Whew. All caught up in Discord.
Cool.
All caught up in Discord.
We're all caught up?
Yeah.
Wow. What a good feeling.
Yeah.
Cathartic.
Yeah. We got through that.
What's your best and worst feature?
As a person?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we don't have time to go over all my worst.
One? Yeah. Your best and your worst.
My worst is that I make the mistake of allowing my job to get in the way of my personal happiness, which affects my relationship with Malika and my dog and myself. So that's a mistake that I make far too often.
Welcome, Welch 2008.
Thank you.
My best feature is that I put my work above a lot of things. I don't want to say I put my work above Malika though, because at the end of the day, if Malika said, hey, you have to choose me or your work, I'd choose her.
That's not your best feature, it's silly.
You said that's healthy?
I said that's healthy.
Oh, well.
I think.
I don't think she's ever the type of person that would put me in that position.
No, she wouldn't do that.
Because we have a good relationship and she wouldn't do that.
She wouldn't do that. Although, I understand that sometimes people get in those things. I retweeted something the other day where someone was like, if you can't deal with me at my worst, then I respect your healthy sense of boundary. And I was like, that's
God, that's awesome.
So true.
Oh, because the other one that people are constantly saying is they use it as an excuse to just be terrible.
Just be terrible, or be like, everyone else should just deal with me. And I think like realistically, no one is going to do that. Tea Down Under.
Thank you for the 8 months.
There was, oh man.
Slipshot, I don't have issues with Hector. Hector is he has a very forward personality, and he just says what he thinks, and he doesn't phrase it in a way that my feelings always like. And it has created.
As you said, sometimes him and I have similar personality traits.
Yes, you do, but somehow it hurts me more when Hector does it to me, because I think that I'm just like, maybe because we've been in like the trenches together, and Hector and I like host stuff together,
but haven't been through the trenches.
But we haven't been through the trenches. So when I hug Hector at TwitchCon, and I am all like, oh my god, hug a baby, and he's like, don't do that. Don't act like a normal person. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Thanks for coming to my meetup and doing that. There's people all around now. I'm real embarrassed, Hector. Thank you. It's fine. I talked to my therapist about it. Hector it's actually funny because that was like so I started seeing a therapist because it's been a few years and sometimes you just need a tune-up. And like she's doing CBT, so it's very like behavioral based and changing my thoughts to change my behaviors and emotions. Yes, and like my first example was like, hey, sometimes I get really fixated and I ruminate on things. Like here's this story of what this guy that I adore did at Twitch. He probably will never think about that again. I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks straight and I can't stop thinking about it. And several times since then, she's used it as an example, and I'm like, I don't want to be talking about Hector in my therapy. This is weird. Yeah. But I don't know. No, Hector and I adore Hector. I tend to be a person who assumes everyone hates me, which
Yes, you do.
yeah, which is it's my problem. It's no one else's problem. If you have something like that, you should
I think
not.
you've in fact asked me numerous times, why does this person hate me? And I'm like, I don't think that they
I
do
do.
that. I don't think
I do.
that's ever come up.
Although the last time when it was Lucas, I was mostly joking.
I kind of do the same thing to a certain point, so then it's always a surprise if you find out somebody actually likes you.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can only go...
It's a pleasant surprise.
When you're at rock bottom, you can only go up from there.
I just make the assumption that everyone hates me and it makes everything easier, and then I'm like, cool, don't care.
Well, some people don't care. Like, Pearl, who we've done, she assumes everyone likes her, and if she finds out that someone doesn't like her, she's like, well, that's their problem. And I'm like, that is wonderful. How do I do that? But,
I don't know that I think that's all that wonderful, because some people, that when they assume everyone likes them, that can be an awfully grating trait.
she does it in a not grating way. She kind of does it in this, like, Zooey Deschanel, like, nice way, but without the, like, awful tweeness that Zooey Deschanel has sometimes.
Okay, I was gonna say, this Zooey Deschanel's not so much.
Oh, Ozai75, you're taking that way too personal, man. Again, I was using your question as an example of using the question of all ships rising at once as an example to not let what happened happen on GNS happen here. My reaction of bring it on, motherfucker, is me using an overreaction to something. It's not directed to you personally in any way, shape, or form. I understand that you are a huge fan of the channel and you're around all the time. That's why I answered your question in the first place. I'm using your question as an example to everyone else of how I feel about the subject and how passionately I feel about making sure this channel survives and all ships have a quality that will rise at once. It was a passionate response to something I feel very passionate about, not directed to you personally in any way, shape, or form.
We love you, Ozai.
Yeah, don't take it personal.
And you know what? You might take it personal, but you can work through it.
Or just don't care what I say at all. That's another thing you can do too.
Zach isn't important.
Yeah. One of the other questions was from somebody asking how, any chance Zach can cut down on the profanity?
Whoa.
Probably not. I've already cut down on it. It's probably as much as it's gonna be.
I'm real sorry that's just my default.
Oh yeah, I can't.
That's my default.
I can't cut down on it. I've already cut down a lot. One of the other questions was how to make board gaming work on Twitch. And I would say the best tips I would have.
Is this for like a channel or for like an individual streamer?
For a channel or individual streamer, either way, is the advice I would give. Most importantly, it's about who's on camera playing that game. Whoever's on camera playing that game is the most important aspect to how you make a board game work. 2, don't forget that there's a chat room. Don't forget that someone's sitting there watching you. If you just play a board game on Twitch, that's boring for people to watch. It's really boring for people to watch. You need to remember that there's a chat room there and they want to be a part of what you're doing. They don't care about just watching you go through a board game steps. It takes a lot of editing and music and clever ways to keep a board game entertaining to watch. So if you don't have those things, make the audience a part of it. Do something, anything you can, think creatively about how to get the audience in on what you're doing. And it can be simple stuff too. Have them use a bot to vote on how you react a certain way to a certain move, or get advice for how you do this kind of thing. Make the chat a part of your game and you'll have much, much, much higher success with it. Just get them in it. Get them in it and have fun. If you're not having fun, they won't have fun either. What's next? Thanks for the background, Alex. Yeah, yeah, Alex is really good at that.
Background Alex.
Yeah, thank you, background Alex, who's standing 2 feet off camera. Just
like sneaking in.
Let's see if any other.
Sneaking in.
Oh yeah, how did the Saturday Mr. A thing go? I watched it and loved it. Also, I'd like to see a yoga specific episode. I think it went well. I think it's something we can explore. I think for me, the reason it would work is if it's a community driven thing where we make it goals. And we get you guys involved on those goals, and make you a part of that experience. So I think I'm most excited by the idea of continuing to do continuing to do more like exercise related things with Malika. If you guys are interested in actually wanting to feel better about your being proud, because that's to me what I want it to be. I want it to be about pride and being proud of your body as it is, and I think that's something that we can all work on.
One of the 7 deadly sins
is pride.
Too much.
Yeah, because everyone in our chat room has a real problem with being overconfident. Come on.
I want to say something that. So I don't think everybody hates me, but I worry that a lot of people don't like me, right? But I have this theory, and I wonder if anybody else in the chat room feels this way, that actually if you look into the mirror and instead of saying like, oh, I'm lazy, I'm not going to get that job, I look horrible today, instead you create a standard for yourself that I'm awesome, I'm a hard worker, I'm smart, I'm constantly learning things. If you genuinely believe that from the bottom of your heart, I think you become that because you have an honesty with yourself. And that's what I'm all about, is this commitment that you have for yourself from within versus external validation. And that's the only reason why I wanted to do something like that.
I love it.
It's your attitude.
Oh. What do you think?
I agree.
You agree?
Don't be like Zach, have a good attitude. That's the message.
I have a great attitude. My attitude's the best. I have the best, most
I
respectful
have
attitude.
the best attitude. No one has a better attitude than I do.
No one.
I'm the
no one
best
has
at
it.
having an
I'm
attitude.
the best
Look,
at having.
look.
Everyone
No
tells
one
me,
respects women as much as me. You nasty woman.
You nasty woman.
Everyone tells me I respect women the most.
I about lost my shit. All politics aside, it's a goddamn racket to have in one conversation someone say no one respects women as much as me, and then have that same individual interrupt a woman with nasty woman.
She's a nasty woman.
Like, dude, I can't even write this shit. Like, you can't write that shit. It's too good. Okay, whatever. Moving on.
What are someone asked LA places to eat that you miss?
Oh, for me, there's so many. I don't want fucking tacos. Goddamn Taco Zone. I talk about those fucking tacos
Taco
weekly.
Zone? What's
Taco
Taco Zone?
It's a taco truck on Alvarado, north of Sunset, next to the Ralph's.
I know what
the
you're
Vons.
talking about. That place is great.
Fucking Taco Zone, dog. That truck gets there at 10 p.m. and stays there till 4 a.m. and it will blow your goddamn mind. The toppings, as many as you want, just fucking.
Well, you don't eat most of the food that I eat because you don't eat dairy, but I really miss Pie Hole.
Pie hole! Oh my god, what's your favorite?
The mac and cheese pie, of course.
Okay, what about the maple custard?
It's all wonderful. All good pies. Every pie is great. I also liked what the fuck is it called? Something Cafe. The one where you have to say a stupid affirmation before you can get your food. And it's like, I am beautiful. And you're like, I would like
Cafe
to order.
Gratitude?
Yeah, Cafe Gratitude.
Fuck that place.
What? I love Cafe Gratitude.
I want to stab myself in the goddamn eyes every time I go in there.
Is it because you have to do an affirmation?
Yes.
And they ask you what you're happy about?
Yes, and they're a fucking cult that's been taken to court multiple times for
I know,
mistreating their employees and forcing them to join their own little religious fantasies and shit.
But their food's great.
Not gonna lie, their French toast is pretty good. But I want to stab myself in the face when I'm getting it.
Yeah, I mean, see, I live on the east side, so I don't live in Seattle a lot.
Hey!
Keep up the great work, Zach. I'm glad to be part of the Thumper family and I can't wait to watch the
thank you,
content that
Impossible
you
Girl
guys
Heaven.
have.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the Thumper Army.
I love how the robot says Zach.
Zach.
Okay. Iterator 5 asks who my favorite Twitch personalities are outside of GNS and the HRPG family. That's stuff I don't have time to watch that much. I mean, well, okay, that's not totally true. I love DJ Knight. DJ Knight is an amazing individual. He's just an awesome person to be around. Number One Alex is another amazing person just to be around. Taymorag is another individual that's just so awesome to be around. Seriously, Clara is a really fun person to be around. those are people that I'm like, these are great, just individuals. I really enjoyed hanging out with Burke Black when I saw him at TwitchCon, and then I'm glad he stopped by last week. So, let's see. I know Half Donut posted this a couple times, but it kept scrolling through. Is there something or a direction you'd like to see for this channel that the community/viewers need to help with, or to help make that happen? There's already a lot of stuff that's happening in that way, Half Donut, that's always going on behind the scenes in our Discord. I don't think I need to ask any more out of this community. Like, you guys are doing so much. Just keep watching the content and telling us what we can be doing better, and interacting with the content and talking to us, and that's all we could ever ask for right now, because you guys are already doing so much and helping in so many ways. So we really, really appreciate that. Another question was, do I get show ideas that I consider? What's the best idea and worst idea ever presented to you? I don't know if I want to talk about worst ideas, because they would have all come from a place that you know, but as far as like, there's so many ideas I have for shows that we can't afford to do. Like, holy shit, there are so many things I want to do on this channel and ideas that I have for shows that we just aren't big enough yet. I can tell you that as we grow, I have a long-term plan of all sorts of things that I want to end up doing. We're just not there yet, because it's all about scaling and making sure that we don't try to like lose all the money before we get it, kind of thing. So, but there's lots of ideas that always pop into the head. I'm like, oh, that would be really amazing. Fuck, we can't afford that. Like, I know a couple people the second we started talking about like cosplay, they're like, oh, we should do a cosplay show. It's like, well, I wouldn't even say we do one, because right now we've invested all of our money in our RPGs and we can't afford to do one.
Yeah.
We just can't afford to right now. But in the future, we could. Right now.
Money. Malika, you are an amazing person. And you always do so much to keep everything hyped and positive. Malika is awesome.
I agree. Malika's pretty awesome.
Also, Genova Plus just donated a kidney. So
Oh, Genova Plus,
thank
thanks for
you.
the kidney.
Woo! Ozai, I wanted to say thank you for the support. My mom has liver cirrhosis, which is hilarious because growing up Seventh Day Adventist, she's never had a drop of alcohol, so everyone
That's weird.
yeah, so it's just
That's
you know
like the
heart
Drinker's disease.
medicine, which rolls into the lesbian story that I promised to tell everyone.
What?
So it was a thing that I made as a joke, and now people are holding me to it. But when I was growing up, I lived in a very conservative small town that for some reason had improv troops. So juxtaposition there. And I didn't even know what Indian food was until I went on a plane to London when I was like 18, and I was like, what is this mushy mush? Why is there raisins in my rice?
Money. Alex, your fears are well founded. You're kind of a dick.
I'm laughing. I love you, buddy. Thank you.
Lula, thanks for resubscribing.
Thank you, Chris Orzo, for that follow. Our alerts stopped working here. So.
Yeah, but it was kind of delightful not knowing what that was gonna say.
I know, right?
So I grew up like, you know, not much diversity. I was pretty poor, but
Money. I'm hungry.
Thanks, Zagras. Good to know.
And so I was pretty poor, but I grew up like in a sea of white privilege. Actually, when a girl got murdered in my high school, Rolling Stone came and covered the story and said that it was a sea of white Abercrombie and Fitch bitches. So, yeah. Her friends thought that they were like natural born killers and they wanted to see if they could kill someone and get away with it. And then we found her in the canyon. So that was pretty awful when that happened. But, you know, I grew up like not having too much diversity, not really understanding diversity. I didn't have Thai food until I was 25. So like I said, the big like joke was to call the Thespian Society the Lesbian Society. And I recently found out that Marzipan had a story that I was like, wait, how come I didn't know about lesbians? I didn't know about all this stuff, but you have been hiding this story. So she used to think that she was a lesbian because once she fell asleep at a party and this couple, you know, they just wanted to be in love. And she woke up and they were loving each other. And she was like, I think I'm a lesbian now. And I was like, well, Mom, no, you're not. Like, that definitely did not make you a lesbian. You were married like 4 times, and people were having love on top of you while you were asleep. That doesn't count. You're not a lesbian. She was like, are you sure? I might just be. I love Viola Davis.
I feel like I could have coffee with your mom for
That
hours.
sounds great.
I don't know what the fact that she has like never come to be on a Twitch show is like so surprising.
So your mom loves Viola Davis, therefore lesbian.
I don't know, but I discover these small
Money. No, I mean I'm really hungry.
Kellandros, I understand you not being able to necessarily immediately connect with Vanquished and Shadowrun because you don't know the systems. I can tell you with Vanquished, you could learn that system on a one-sheet, and it's free. You can go to Catalyst's website and Catalyst Vanquished RPG, and you can download a one-sheet basically that tells you how to play. It's the most simple system in the world, and that's why we wanted to stream it, is because it's the Q system, which is ridiculously simple, and most of it is based on improv. So for that show, you shouldn't be worried about the system at all. You should just have fun following the story. Right, Vanquish has a system. It's pretty much improvisational storytelling that has some dice mechanics that's in there. So it's really easy. Now Shadowrun, on the other hand, is dense as fuck. Shadowrun is one of the densest RPG systems I've ever seen. I'm sorry, it's tough. We did make some how to learn Shadowrun videos with Lauren. They're on our YouTube channel, but man, oh man, it's a tough system. Like, I don't know how to play. I've been watching the show for months and months now, and even filmed those how to play videos. I still don't know how to play, so it's tough.
That's how they get you. They have sex on top of you when you're not looking, and bam, now you're gay.
It's the liberal agenda.
That is the liberal agenda.
Oh man.
Actually, you would do really well with her because for all of your like crazy stories, she could match them with a different but equally terrifying story.
No, my favorite
that
people to talk to growing up were like crazy. I'm not saying they're not crazy.
She was crazy.
Money. Let Momzapan be a lesbian if she wants. It's fine.
The voice was the best part of that.
Hearing the robot read that stuff is just great.
Grant Trombosis is like, what a great advertisement for those how to play videos, Zach. Look, I'm just saying I don't get it. If you like heavy systems, you'll like it. For me, I'm not big into heavy systems. I like really loose systems. I'm not too big on rules.
Money. That fake Sargeras, yo. Don't listen to him. But damn, I am hungry though. Maybe bacon? Or maybe noodles. Bacon noodles? Is that a thing? Help.
Thank you for the donation. That was wonderful.
Okay, thank you, Zargaras. Thank you. Bacon noodles need to be a thing. They're a thing. I get not wanting to do D&D because, you know, other stuff, but any interest in the World of Darkness stuff. I have not looked into World of Darkness. Right now, we're talking to a couple different people. Look, if you guys didn't notice, the, oh my god, my brain just went blank. Open Legend? Is that what we played yesterday? Yeah, Open Legend just made a stretch goal. If they reach their stretch goal, if they raise 55K on their Kickstarter, we're going to do an Open Legend show.
Nice.
On this channel. And the other system, we're looking at Savage Worlds as well as possibly trying to do something. So we're looking at other systems and exploring them. We're also looking at the Star Wars system. Right now, we just can't make any more shows. We just can't. Especially after picking up Cineverse. Like, that put some of our other show ideas on hold because we just don't have the money to do anything else right now. We just don't. Just fucking don't. We're looking at all sorts of stuff. We're building a plan out for the future.
We do one shots though, and then
Yeah, we do
also
one-shots
strict
sometimes.
like experiments with other just really far out there RPGs too.
Osiris says, Zach, how you play Shadowrun is easy. Go to your local gaming shop, buy every single D6 that you see, roll them, and there you go. Yeah, it's a bucket of dice game. Oh, Yeah, there's so many RPG systems, and we want to do some, but we have to kind of look too at like where's the benefit from, and like how we do that. So it's tough.
Is there a restaurant you absolutely love and go, where have you been all my life once you started going? I mean,
Taco Zone.
Here, the one restaurant that I really, really like is called Local 360. And that's mainly because they have deviled eggs, and I just love deviled eggs.
Money. That fake Sargeras has a good idea. Bacon noodles do sound good.
Apparently there's like 3 Zargarasses in the channel.
Just everywhere.
Thanks for the $5.
I'm trying to think of if there was like a place in LA that I was just like...
I mean, I really, really like Sage in LA.
Oh, Sage is so good.
It's really good.
I love Sage.
Even though I'm not vegan anymore, I still go eat at Sage all the time. It's just fucking delicious.
I feel like that especially, like vegan food is so hard to do well that when you find a good one, you just go there all the time. Like I used to go...
I feel the opposite. I feel like in LA, there's so much good vegan food because there's this standard for it.
Yeah.
There's a really high standard for it, so I don't
maybe
have
outside of LA.
Outside LA it's really bad. They just fry like vegetables and say it's vegan. Cookie for Zombies, thank you for that follow.
Thank you.
Woo. What the fuck is even going on in the donations right now? I don't know, man. There's like a Zagros war happening. Shit happens.
Just accept it, let it roll over you like
Jess
a
or
wave.
Zach or both, how do you maintain your personal relationships when you guys work at this level? Well, not very well.
Yeah.
Malika's been sitting here working on a laptop in the corner, and I know part of it, so we're spending time together.
She's not there right now.
She just went to the restroom, but it's tough.
Money. Less than 3.
Oh, Jemessimo, thank you for that. Oh, just
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it depends. I think it's totally possible to have a fulfilling relationship and be a workaholic. Like I have obviously like my family and my dogs and my husband and my best friends are the most important thing to me. But there is constantly part of me that is like relegating their needs to the back burner for work. And I think that I have gotten to a good place where people just expect that I'm going to be home late, that I'm probably not going to remember to call, that I'm going to forget like birthdays, I'm not going to get good birthday presents, I'm not going to do that, but I am really passionate about my work. And that passion spills over into other areas of my life when I feel really great about work. But I think until you admit to yourself, like, hey, work is probably like the number one priority, not necessarily the most important thing, but the thing I prioritize above everything else in my life, the more you can work on setting expectations for your loved ones and making commitments to yourself to make sure you're not taking those relationships for granted. It's not a perfect system at all.
I'm bad at it. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm terrible. I know I'm terrible. It causes issues all the time. But for me, it's kind of like I'm trying to think of the future and like I'm pushing myself as hard as I possibly can right now, hoping that in the future I don't have to, because I have an insane amount of student debt. I have no retirement plan. I'm a small business owner, and now's my chance. Like, I'm over 30. If I don't fucking make it work now, I'm in trouble. So part of me pushing as hard as I am now is hoping that I secure some sort of future for myself that allows me to have more time to enjoy life later.
But here's the thing, if you wanted to just like get rid of your student debt, like you could go get a government job and it would be gone in 10 years.
I can't. There's no way. I can't do a normal job. My body's too fucked up.
But
I have to have a very special, specific job. Yes, thank you.
Oh, they're so big and juicy looking.
Yes. These are giant, big and juicy grape. No, because of my condition, it's really hard to count on me to be able to do a desk job or anything like that. Really hard.
But there might be.
I have a very specific set of skills.
There might be a scenario where if you were just doing something to, like, you know, pay it off and get yourself situated, where maybe you would not necessarily have to push yourself to the level that you are now.
Money. Did I do it right?
Zargaros 999. Thank you for that.
Just devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that there's like an answer one way or the other. I'm just curious. Do you think still part of it though is this is motivating and fulfilling for you, and that is the other reason, even though it's also
Well, okay. There's.
Money. Real Zargaras here. I've decided on noodles with 3 eggs. That's how Zargaras roll. Fake Zargaras can't handle more than 1 egg in his noodles.
Good point, Zargaros.
Nice.
Good point. I agree with you. I think that some of it, yes. Some of it is I tried doing a normal job a while back, and it's really, really hard for me to do so with my condition and the different issues that brings up. Now, granted, what I'm doing now is also extremely, extremely difficult because of my condition, but I'm at least in a position now where I can look at my team and say, I have to lay down for 20 minutes. I have to. And I do it. And I can do that. And part of this position is that it is so tough and that it keeps moving that it doesn't give me time to think about how much pain I'm in. When I do any job where I'm sitting for a little bit, my psychological health
Money. Zach, don't worry about the future. Take one step at a time in the moment that is in front of you.
Honestly, that's kind of what I do, and that's kind of why I'm in this position, is because I don't really ask questions, and I take risks and just go one day to the next. But for myself, like, anything that requires me to just kind of sit and focus on
Money. Zach, don't drink up all that Soylent. I'm hungry. Yo, Alex, put one in the fridge for me.
It's all
Hashtag
gone.
Neonut, hashtag hash browns.
Order more, it's gone.
So for those that don't know, because people are coming, I have type 2 EDS and an extreme version. Hey!
The effort that you're putting now is going to pay off. Once you manage to grow to the point where you can hire more folks and delegate things to them, you'll be able to work more normal hours.
Yeah.
I love what you guys do, and your effort is appreciated.
Thank you for that. And that's the long-term goal, obviously, is to not always be doing what I'm doing right now, because I know I will end up dying if I continue doing things the way I'm doing them. But I'm able to do it now, so I need to do it now while I still can. But like I said, anything that requires me to sit, I psychologically go fucking crazy because I'm gonna be in pain no matter what I do. No matter what I do, I'm in pain. My pain gets to me way more if I'm sitting and trying to focus on one thing. Like, me being a multitasker is actually better for me. If my brain is completely flooded with impossible tasks in front of me, I don't notice how much chronic pain I'm in. I mean, I notice, but not to the point of it driving me like...
It's like a distraction.
Exactly. My anxiety levels and personal well-being get so out of fucking hand, like when I'm on like a 12-hour flight or something like that, and I'm just sitting in pain and can't do anything about it, and I'm just like going fucking crazy in my own skin. Absolutely drives me nuts. Freddie, thank you for that follow. Thank you for that. So I kind of, as much as it tires me out and is destroying my body, I almost psychologically need to have these impossible tasks in front of me to keep my brain unable to focus on anything else.
I think that
Like,
makes
it
sense.
helps.
I think that makes sense.
Have you had to sacrifice relationships, friends, etc., because you couldn't or wouldn't understand you making work a top priority? Yeah, years ago I decided I was not gonna have friends.
I mean, like, I think it goes back to that same thing. If you say no, that you can't do something, people stop asking you, and you just, you know, it might not be like a giant, like, friends are like, fuck you, you don't prioritize me, but people will just stop calling you or texting you, and, you know, then you can be like, oh yeah, well, I have lots of people that I know, but, you know, that those people, I'm not going to call them because I haven't spoken to them in ages because I'm always busy. It's just a natural side effect.
I feel you, Darak, Sharna. I feel you. Yeah, you know, there was a time when I was younger that I thought socializing was important to make the work I was doing work. Alex and I both.
Yeah.
But some of that was a distraction too. Like we'd go to karaoke and stuff together, and it was a good distraction. But a lot of that was pretty meaningless. And honestly, the kind of the people I've connected with on the internet through this is much more valuable to me, and I've grown a lot more as a person than the people I was hanging out with randomly back in the day. Like far more. And I've learned a lot more about the world and myself from doing so. That's all I need. I don't really need to like hang out with people. I'm not that kind of person. I grew up in the woods by myself, so with just my brothers. So it's kind of like we always were not really surrounded by people. So it's kind of normal for me. Now, not everyone is like that. Some people need social interaction. Yeah, some people need it.
Yeah.
I don't. So it works for me.
I am not. It's weird. I am a very center of attention person, like 100%. I like people noticing what I'm doing. I like to be complimented. I like people talking to me. I like to make people laugh. But I'm not a very social person. I'm not very outgoing. I will force myself to be that way if I have to for work or just to like go to a party, but I'm really good at like being like, I'm gonna make the rounds so everyone sees me, and then I finish the loop, and then I'm out of the party in 30 minutes. And I think that there's a lot of people who do stuff on the internet who are that same way, and that's why it's a lot easier to do things with people on the internet, because there's less like, oh, I'm just standing here holding a beer at a party full of people who are kind of my friends, but not really, and I could be friends with them more, but it's so awkward, or just I don't feel like going through the motion of that. And it's a lot easier to talk to people on the internet. All of those like social norms are kind of out, and you know, to the point that if you don't put like emojis and lols, you can be abrasive on the internet. But I think on the internet, like a lot of that bullshit is taken away, and it's just like cut through and people interacting, as opposed to doing this like weird peacocking dance of socializing.
Exactly. You're around people all the time, so that could be one reason you really don't want to be, you know, you want time to yourself.
Well, it wasn't long ago, I wasn't.
Yeah.
When I was editing primarily, I was stuck at home alone for months at a time, and I'm whatever. In my head, I don't make a difference. Just think some people make a difference. I'm gonna be thinking the same things and making the same decisions when I'm alone at home as I would here. Like, so I don't see it as different, and maybe that's why some people think I'm detached too, and they're trying to talk to me. It's because like I'm in my head, I'm not making a difference between me working here and me working at home at a computer. Like I'm still kind of just as detached to what's going on around me.
And some people,
I seem kind of off-putting. I get it.
Some people find socializing like recharging, and other people find it draining. And some people it just doesn't matter one way or the other.
That's part of the thing about being around people. Some people expect you to act a certain way, which is why they could find you off-putting, because they expect you to put on those social, like the social makeup of like, oh hey, blah 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 blah. But you don't do that, so they're like, oh, this is different.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I'm just not thinking about you. Oh, I guess that makes me a dick. Yeah.
I used to make fun of me because I was talking
Yeah, Malika will fucking talk to anyone. We are so different. I'm the kind of person, I get an Uber or a cab and I'll look out the window, I'll enjoy the ride, and at the end I'll be like, thank you. And that's it. I won't say a word. Malika will get in and just, like, at one time, Malika was like, you need to call this number for something, and I called them, and they're like, oh, yeah, your girlfriend's the one from Florida, right? And all this, and I'm like, you were on the phone with, a bank person, a receptionist at the dentist office. When I showed up at the dentist. When I showed up to the dentist, they're like, oh yeah, your girlfriend's the one from Florida that's a blah, blah. And I'm like, how did she get all that information out when she called to set up my appointment? Like, it amazes me the amount of information Malika will stuff into one social encounter. It's amazing.
I've done a lot of jobs that way.
Yeah, that's
It
why
works.
she's good to take to cons and stuff, because she'll talk to people and I won't.
I feel like that's why we get along though, because we would be working at night and we would just be sitting on the couch, and I feel like neither of us felt the need to say anything, but it wasn't an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're both sitting here. If one of us has something to say, we will, but we're not just going to like make meandering talk just because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about time. Oh, Marceline Fang, thank you.
Thanks.
Woo. Thank you for that. So, I think it's about time. Thank you, Jess, for coming out. Happy birthday.
Oh, Jesus.
Happy birthday!
Wait,
This was
this
nice
one.
because we didn't get like, you were like, we're gonna get super serious in the
Nah, I
weeds
knew
and
we
talk.
wouldn't.
And so I didn't even think about closing out my 20s. Thanks for closing out my 20s
Dude,
here.
if it makes you feel any better, 30 was the hardest birthday I've ever had.
Really?
All of a sudden, I got really sad and depressed about my life.
It's,
Does that make you feel better?
it's fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm turning 30 on Tuesday, and I'm not doing anything. I'm doing a charity stream, not on my birthday, but you know, after my birthday to do like something. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I'm maturing or if I just
Oh, thanks, Krellin.
don't care about that stuff. But whatever, we'll see.
It's funny because I've never cared about birthdays. I never gave a shit. And then on my 30th birthday, I kind of woke up. I was like, oh fuck, I haven't accomplished anything yet. And it was a huge kick in the ass for me. And probably why I'm here right now.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of there.
But you had
That
accomplished
is-
a bunch.
Not really.
Like, you
I wasn't
had
at
the
GNS
art
yet.
but you had the art
Yeah,
gallery,
an art
and you
gallery,
were
and I
an
was doing
artist,
film
and you were
stuff,
really
but
accomplished, and you had your own
nah.
production company.
But remember, he's never happy.
Okay, well there's that.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
never
I
satisfied.
feel like I have not done a single thing, and I know intrinsically that sounds like bullshit, and I'm like fishing for compliments, and I know that I have, but I think I will probably always be the kind of person who is looking at the next thing. Who's like, all right, you're only as good as the next thing you do. So, I
I'm
don't know.
always gonna feel like I've wasted my entire life and accomplished nothing.
Well, that's just silly and not true. But thank you everyone for the happy birthday wishes. Thank you for letting me come on Honesty Hour.
Ooh, I need to see who we're raiding. Who we gonna raid, guys? Who we gonna raid? Who we gonna spread that thumper love all over their face?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
awkward.
to
I'm
you.
so uncomfortable.
Now it's really awkward.
Happy birthday, dear Jess. Happy birthday to you.
Whoa!
Dude, you're turning 30.
Oh my god. Let's raid someone.
That was like the most awkward happy birthday song in the world.
It's only
Perfect.
awkward because I was like, Zach, should we get a cake?
Oh, you know.
Oh my god.
Speaking, yeah, and I was like, eh.
Nah, it's fine.
No, he was like, it's not our birthday yet. Do it later. And
It's not. My birthday's on Tuesday.
Okay,
I
guys.
will be
Speaking of
working.
Burke Black, let's raid Burke Black. Let's raid Burke Black.
Raid.
So we're gonna raid Burke Black. Everybody, get that raid command ready in the chat room. Get that raid command ready. Let me
Raid someone over 30.
My dog says woof woof.
to you.
Cool.
Aww.
That's a song that we like to. Oh, I could play it. Tiger baby.
It's a kaiju.
Alright, I'm getting that raid command ready. I hate doing this from my phone. Alright, guys, Burke Black is an amazing streamer. He's a lot of fun to watch. It looks like he's currently playing Battlefield 1, which is super fun, though.
Yeah.
It's super fun. Oh, I kind of wish I was playing it right
Like
now.
art.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you're with us instead.
No, I want to play playing video games instead. But go have fun watching him play a game I want to be playing. Hey, this
thanks
year,
for the follow.
815, thank you for that follow. Guys, tomorrow we will be back with some amazing programming. Are you guys on Trivia Hops tomorrow?
Yeah.
Am I? Personally?
Wait, I think I'm
No.
on next week.
No.
Okay, I don't know who's
I don't
on
think I'm on
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
but Trivia Hops tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun.
Trivia hops, woo!
Okay, are you guys ready? We're going to go raid. We're going to raid. And go!
Hyper Rabbit Power,
All right, we hosted.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for making you feel uncomfortable. But
Oh, Hyper RPG said it's me this week. Okay, I'm on tomorrow. Cool.
Alex this week. That was fun.